I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. It's Dinoking Daturday. Welcome. I know we're all celebrating. I know that we're all scaling our birds, and we're digging our eggs, as we all do on Dinoking Daturday. But hello and welcome. I saw a bunch of people. I want to yell some names. Hello, V-Rider. Hello, Ruby. Hello, GD Slalom and Timmy and Scott and Robot Lorekeeper and Zero and Lee and Tombot and Long was here and M Cypher and Artino and Logos and Cliff and Sky Seu and Shia and Chris Muse and Ezim and Student Scissors and Lano Joe. I think I hit it all. I think I had it all and then some. Hello, Picky Peeves. Once again, Picky Peeves, once again, our Dinoking Daturday preordained minister. Mozotron, hello. Hi. The Dinoking fans finally can rise up once again. I've made no secret about it. You can see it in the thumbnail. I yelled about it for 2 other streams. I'm gonna finally open my Dinoking set. Who is a bunch of retools of the core class Dinobots from Legacy United that I never bought, so I have never messed with any of these. This is going to be just me fully discovering as we go on. Why did I never pick them up? Mainly because in Canada, core classes, it's not about whether they hit another price point. It's more that core classes, by the time Legacy United was happening, had an MSRP, a retail price, that cleared $15 and made me not want to engage with the notion of feeling obligated to purchase 6. It took me a while to pick up Dinoking because he is $80. That sucks if you know how much the Canadian dollar's worth right now. It's not about the price point, it's about sending a message. Yeah, Izum, I was gonna say, today I decided, because I saw that it was still in a couple theaters in town, I went out to see The Day the Earth Blew Up. I believe, very first feature-length Looney Tunes feature that is like a feature-length feature that is just a Looney Tunes feature. It is just a 90-minute long animated film. There are no live-action humans saying, "Damn, that's Bugs Bunny." There are no, that I'm aware of at least, celebrity voice actors. There's no overarching theme of, do you remember the Looney Tunes? I thought it was real fun. I think that if you like Looney Tunes, you should probably watch it, at least when it comes out on home media or streaming. And yeah, apparently, because this movie was aggressively being combated by its own licensor, Warner Brothers, despite that, the movie did pretty darn well. And word on the street is that Warner Brothers is finally like, okay, Ketchup Entertainment, who distributed this, maybe we'll sell you Coyote versus Acme. But like, and when I say actively combated, now I'm very biased about this stuff, bear in mind. But like, in the last week, which was kind of the week of The Day the Earth Blew Up, Warner Brothers did not renew a license and thus had all of the classic Looney Tunes cartoons dropped off of Max. Now, my understanding is they're up on Tubi. However, most people, I think, don't see that second headline. They see the first one. People think, oh, they're yanking the Looney Tunes off Max. I guess that they want to kill this movie. That's how I felt, at least. Yeah, it's. I was told on Blue Sky by someone that this is the same lead as the current Looney Tunes cartoons. Obviously, Eric Bauza's in it. The cast list was very short, which I liked. Fred Tatasciore is in it with 2 roles, actually. I highly recommend it. It obviously, like, the current run of Looney Tunes wears its DNA and its inspiration on its sleeve. That very distant Tex Avery, perhaps slightly closer to Spumco kind of look. And it's very lovingly made. There's a funny bit with an aspect ratio change for a pretty good bit. The Farmer Jim intro is, I think, actually the funniest part of the movie, but that's because it does a specific thing that I specifically think is hilarious. The kids in the audience also laughed out part of it, but it felt very much like an animator in-joke that just became part of the movie, and I really liked it. Farmer Jim's whole thing brought me great joy. I laughed a lot. It's really fun. What I'll say is like if there was gonna be any kind of like temper your expectations thing, it is in fact that it is just a Looney Tunes story. So if you're going in like, oh, I wonder if it's gonna like sprawl into an expanded universe, or like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna like do something like super, like, you know, it's a little bit meta because it's Daffy and Porky, right? Daffy especially. But it doesn't do anything that goes like, you know, finally the Looney Tunes have a theatrical. Like, the whole thing is very much at its core like a Looney Tunes version of a goofy take on like a 50s B horror sci-fi thing. Yeah, no LTEU, unfortunately. There is a post-credit scene, in case you are the type who... I think you should sit through the credits of this one out of simple respect for all of the animators and also all of the orchestra members who are in those credits. Also, the credits are lined with design art, and it's kind of cool just to look at that as the credits are scrolling. Complete opposite of every Tom and Jerry... But yeah, I guess kind of. Yeah. Yeah, Izum, the whole time I was like, I wonder when they're going to put the rest of them in, but then, like, while I was watching it, I was like, no, actually, this makes it feel more like a Looney Tunes cartoon. We're here because it is these characters. It said so in the big title at the start. Why am I expecting other characters? What's up, Trans Drummer? Yeah, I was able to pop in on that Diaclona stream too. The biggest grats to the second person on the internet to get Swapticons. Feels like we should have or should have been one of several Looney Tunes movies we got 20 or 30 years ago. Yeah. When I finished the movie, the thing that I had a lot of hard time like kind of just sitting there processing was like it took till 2025 to have a Looney Tunes feature film that is just a Looney Tunes feature film. It took till 2025. Like, no disrespect to Coyote vs. Acme, which I desperately want to see. But that is one that is working in, live action and meta elements a lot more heavily. It took till 2025! And that's also why I really wanted to see it in theaters. Because I was, like, low-key, I was like, I'm sure I will get the exact same amount of entertainment out of this just watching it at home. However, and also, it's already getting bumped out of theaters for friggin' disaster piece Snow White. But I saw it was still playing, and I thought, given that this is the first time they have ever done a theatrical Looney Tunes piece that is just a drawn animation Looney Tunes piece, I kind of would like to see it on a big screen if I have the opportunity. Having seen it, like, yeah, it's not like you will lose a lot if you see it at home. It was just very novel and very cool. Kind of like just sitting there and realize, like, holy moly. I just get to watch a cartoon. Wow. We're not gonna swing this into Space Jam. We're not like, if you like, I think you have to kind of be down for Looney Tunes the way I am. Like, if it sort of is a distant thing to you, like, don't force it. I think that at this point, like, any ticket sales battles we wanted to wage were already won. So, it's all good. But I do believe it is worth, especially if you can see it in like an afternoon on a weekend like I just did, because it wasn't a packed theater, but there were at least 2 families in there, and let me tell you, there was nothing more relieving than hearing children laugh at Looney Tunes to, like, confirm that kids can still laugh at Looney Tunes. Like, okay, have we just become too distant a culture to think it's funny, when a dog farts? And no, a dog farts and a kid still goes, and so that made me happy too. Like, just the fact that kids were audibly enjoying just some raw dog and Looney, like, they it's current Looney Tunes. It is the current aesthetic and run. There's some humor that will hit with the kids a bit better. The word influencer appears. It doesn't seem to be quite as vertebrae cracking as when the upcoming Smurfs movie introduces Influencer Smurf in the trailer. It's more just for a bit, but it's a pretty funny bit. I think it's very in character for a Daffy Duck role, a moment. It's not his role. I don't want to misrepresent that. I don't want to tell you all what happens, but, like, at one point they dropped the word influencer, and you might have seen a picture of Daffy Duck popping cheeks. I'm trying to remember. I think Porky is the one who says the word influencer, but then Daffy is the one who says the... Does Daffy say... No, neither of them say canceled. The little sign pops up, says canceled. It's relevant. Tell me Influencer Smurf is... I mean, it might be a joke for the movie, but in the upcoming Smurfs trailer, there's a point where they point at Influencer Smurf. And I kind of found it fascinating, like, to consider the idea of a Smurf who has never interacted with humans, never seen the internet, yet that Smurf was born with this inherent knowledge that they are Influencer Smurf. So they're just like, you imagine they're saying things and they don't even know why they're saying these things. Talking about, I said poppin' cheeks. You don't get to see a ton of it, but more than you might expect, you get to see Daffy Duck's cheeks a little bit. Very in character, in my opinion. Is the new Smurfs movie a sequel to the older live-action Smurfs? I don't think so. Gargamel is a cartoon in it, and the Smurfs are cartoons. But also, I think everyone else is live action. I don't know. I don't remember what I saw in that trailer. It was late. I was watching it with some other people. Anyway, I don't want to take away from Looney Tunes by talking about, another friggin' Smurfs movie. So no Hank Azaria. I don't know. I didn't look into who's doing the voicing. But yeah, it's not Hank Azaria in makeup as Gargamel. Which made me more interested in it, to be honest. But they also introduced Gargamel's brother in the trailer. And I think there's a way that movie could actually be kind of neat, given what the trailer showed. I don't trust it to do that, but there is a small chance it could do that about halfway through. Favorite Looney Tunes character, Wile E. Coyote is my personal. It's Wile E. Coyote, and it's always a throwdown. Wile E. and the Roadrunner were my faves as a baby altogether and as a child. I grew to enjoy Daffy and Marvin quite a lot as well. Especially, my favorite Daffy is really... The modern takes on Daffy have become my favorites because they pull from my favorite classic Daffy, where it's not about Daffy, the hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo guy, so much as it is Daffy, the guy who plays the hoo-hoo guy, who has a complex. That's my favorite classic Daffy. The captions know Gargamel, but Hank is area is the best it gets to. Dang. I still have never actually seen that Duck Dodgers show they did, aside from like 1 or 2 episodes. It looked neat. And yeah, the Wizard show definitely is pretty much up my alley. Did I ever watch Lunatics Unleashed? I did not. I missed that entirely. Picky Peas looked it up. Gargamel is voiced by the guy who played Morph in X-Men. Ah. It is capitalizing Daffy. Oh, it is! Wow. These things are so weird. I'm glad that they do anything. Oh, the NBU played Morph. Thank you, Lee. I am absolutely not up on the X-Men cast all that much. I mostly just see the actual 90s actors when they get called into conventions up here. I see Cal Dodd a lot. That's why I remember his name. The captions also hyphenated X-Men. Oh, they did. That's also... Why do you know about branding? Anyway, they put respect on Daffy's name. Yeah, I will say that the Daffy in this one, I have not watched a lot of the current run of Looney Tunes. I've just seen 1 or 2 shorts, so I don't know if this is like just the Daffy way right now. This is more of a throwback Daffy who is not so much, an embittered actor who plays Daffy. Like, this is more of a, how do you put it? It's because like Daffy is ostensibly male. He says as much in the film even, but he's like a male girl failure, if that makes sense. That's how I've always parsed Daffy Duck. Anyway, or that's how I've always parsed like kind of the classic the hoo-hoo Daffy, and that's kind of what they're going with the film. Or sorry, the cloud cuckoo lander Daffy. I guess that's the term. Failman, yeah. Like, I think if there was one thing that this film did, this is just mostly a scripting thing, there's a lot of times where Daffy refers to Porky Pig as Porkman, and, like, there's something about it that, like, just doesn't click into my brain structure. It doesn't gel with my jello. It doesn't waffle stomp into my brain drain. Speaking of my brain drain, what we're here to do today is right here on the desktop. Look at them. Look at this tragic box. Daffy, that's our word. So, I for the sake of filming my B-roll, I had a moment where so I filmed the box, and I pulled the tray out to film the tray to do, like, a little jump cut trick. And I kind of just, like, sat there looking at it, and I was like, I understand why, right? Because it saves on costs. Why you just have them strapped to a cardboard plank inside this lovely box, right? So instead, my question is, are we approaching an era where it is worthwhile for people to produce third-party box inserts for gorgeous boxes like this? Because, like, you know, I'll show you the back. Like, this box is, in my opinion, beautiful. Got, like, this, you know, the gritty stuff here on the top. Just a lovely design. Also, I realized at one point, there is existing artwork for each of the Dino Force members, and you only get to see a third of it for each one. And that artwork doesn't exist anywhere else? Like, Dino King, at least, you get a... No, wait. Because down here, you only get to see that sliver. Like, they did all this original Dino King and Dino Force artwork, and I don't get to see it. And it kind of bums me out. Please steal the full arts from John. I gotta talk to John Hasbro. I just gotta call out Crispy Cox. And go like, hey, fool, fight me! And then when he shows up, just, like, hit him over the head with a bag full of quarters and steal his art book that I'm sure he's carrying with him. Like, after this, right? You're faced with this absolute depression here. Ugh! Monecron. Yeah, Cypher, I've gone on about it a lot. Like, you know, especially when we know humans were making the art a lot throughout this past era, up until, like, the more debatable era we have entered. Where I still think it's humans, I just think that it is, like... I think it's just a lot of tracing of CAD models now, done by artists who are not paid as much as Marcelo was. To just reduce it to this afterwards, I'm just like, dang, y'all. Like, that's why I didn't open it yet, because I was like, well, I feel bad. Because it's a one-way trip. We're going to go on the one-way trip. Like, don't get me wrong. Where am I going to put these instructions? Let's put them over here. Some of our history streams have talked about product art clips. Yeah, that's a thing that we brought up a lot on those 2020 era Q&A streams. Like, how much a lot of us would like to just see the artwork. Let's just off. That's my my Joy Toy Sisters of Battlesuit lady. It's one of the Joy Toy things that I am probably going to keep. I am starting to think about, like, I don't know if I need to have... I have, like, 7 or 8 Joy Toys, and I feel like I don't need all of them, but I'm not sure yet what I want to do. Shane, what's up? Nobody wanted to buy my GPS-ridden TM Megatron at the garage sale. That's a bummer. Yeah, in 2020 and 2021 especially, I very much had an ulterior motive of, like, release all the packaging art that you probably would have used for the TCG so that people can use it for that purpose. Artino, do I have any recommendations for shelves? If IKEA is palatable to you and your location, the Billy shelves always did me well. I believe the current Billies, if you just, like, if you don't have to cross-generation your Billies, it shouldn't matter. But the Billies were always, like, you know, it's just as far as, like, shelves that are all the same size that you can keep buying more of. Like, they were ones I kind of could rely on for a bit. I'm not really a good, like, a shelf collector, because my apartment is too small, but I am a Billy believer. Oh yeah, no, Billies are still readily available, but Billies had they had a generation change that made... There's a cutoff where everything for one era of Billies suddenly no longer works for the current era of Billies. And for a little while, it was not impossible to end up with, like, cross-generational Billy gear. That should be past now, though. Like, it shouldn't be a problem anymore. So I'm just going to start freeing them, and they can get this stupid plank out of the way, and then we can actually start playing. Favorite popsicle flavor? Orange. Not creamsicle, though. Pure orange. Griff, what's up? Yeah, Billy Classics to Billy Universe 2.3. Yeah, Billy's a pretty solid Blue Ranger. Yeah, Shane, if you are cool using power tools, then they can become compatible. Although, I would then start saying, like, maybe buy better materials if you're able to use power tools than IKEA's, like, you know, pressed wood chip stuff. IKEA's flat packs. Into the Billyverse. We are doing some nippers action, by the way, for those who are curious. So far, I like how many of these feel like a fun little hand nugget. Cliff, opinion on Transformers. Yeah, I think it's interesting that anyone cares about them. Because, like, it sort of is inherently ridiculous, the idea of, like, a car turning into a robot. Why wouldn't it just always be a robot? Alright, let's bust this tissue paper open. Oh my god! They give you both! Look! And new tape, too! Yeah, Shia, it's like there's some kind of dino nuggies. Breaded, even. Ah, look at that. Oh boy, look at this poor guy here. What's up, Dino King? Hang on, I'm gonna make a little bits pile back here where they can't fall off the table as easily. If you are getting Dino King, bear in mind, one of the swords is almost the same color as the tissue paper. Don't lose it. Alright, so I don't really mess around with unbranded tissue paper. Branded tissue paper, though. Woo! You want to see what I made? It's a trick! It's a trick, you friggin' marks. Don't... I played a heel just to mess with you. I played a heel just to mess... Don't be a mark! You gotta be smartened up, Mark! Anyway. I'm gonna put the tray back into this box, and then see how many of these little stupid toenail clippings are left behind on the desk. Oh, there's a bunch. I already see them. There's a bunch. Oh, a couple fell on me. Oh my god, it's just shedding. It's like friggin... Oh! It dandruffed the friggin' little toenail clippings all over me. Look at these things. Ugh. Quoting John Cena from the last Raw. I can't look angry enough. I can't pull his silly face. Okay. So the next adventure is I have all these bits and pieces. Why? Okay. Why were these four put on the tray, but Dino King's literal head was thrown in the tissue paper? Anyway. I gotta figure out what goes on whomst. Also, I do not remember any of their names. I'll say it now. Am I saying that with a bit of disrespect? Maybe, but you know what? I think the Dinosaurs kind of like it. So, really, I'm servicing them in my own way. I don't know if they could secure the head on the tray. I mean, yeah, given it's a cardboard tray, I guess so. But still, the act of disrespect, I'm not, I don't know. I don't know. They all end in view. Thank you. Yeah, Goryu is the leader. That's what, and Kakuryu is the loud one. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Kakuryu, the loud one. Yeah. Goryu, the leader. Yeah, okay. There is no Gyugyu, unfortunately. Although, and there's no Gyugyu either if you're looking for some good curry. Okay. Oh, they have the what to do when you unbox section. It's cute. I guessed this one already. They're like open wings. Like, I'll just do what I would usually do, and this is a hangout stream. I'll do what I usually would do. I would just go like, all right, what are you gonna tell me to do? Fool, sucker. Oh, that's cute. So the head does store with the one that it would be in anyway. That's kind of cute. Well, we stick him in here and go like, ignore me. See the tail? What? Is this what it's like on the Dinobot version? That the Volcanicus head is just like a piece sticking out the tail? Yeah, Sky CU, I do like the fans project names for them where, yeah, it's just like 1 Ryu, 2 Ryu, 3 Ryu. I think that's really, really cute. Slug is a bit less obvious. Yeah, I mean, his head's blue here, like, but that's kind of funny. I never knew that. I didn't really, like, look deeply into Volcanicus. I just, you know, friends would talk about Volcanicus, and I'd be like, alright, that's cool. But I wasn't really taking in a lot of that knowledge heavily. Like, I knew about this part because everyone liked Scar. So I was like, yeah, that's neat. Like, you know, punch you with the tail, literally. It's a little poop head sticking out. Actually, I think you'd find that most tailed animals would not poop out of the tip of their tail. They'd be pooping out of down here. Speaking as a hobby scientist. Okay. Oh, they want me to spread his legs. And then stick his weirdo tail back here. Look at that. And now there's a whole separate part. Now there's a whole separate part for where to put the weapons. So thoughtful. So, if I recall correctly, the weapons are mostly original for Dino King, along with the feet and the head. And all the little heads, if I recall correctly. So I know this gets kind of goofy, like the way that they have you, like, jam some of this stuff in there. What is that? Oh, is that the little sword? Who is playing the role of not Snarl? Doryu! I cannot associate that away from Snarl, or with Snarl, in my brain. That's gonna be an issue. Sam, the only reused weapon is the little sword. I was just starting to wonder that, given that it has an actual spot to, like, stick in. At least according to the instructions. Am I doing this right? Am I looking at the same spot you're telling me about? Yeah, I am. Do you consider the 13 Primes overrated? Not really, given how many... Like, most people I've ever talked to about the 13 Primes either hate the concept or say, what is a 13 Primes? So I don't really think they're overrated that much. At least in my circles. It's kind of like, you know, Unicron at one point went from being like, dang, that, like, you know, oh, the overrated guy, everyone loves Unicron, to like, Actually, if you start asking people, it seems like everyone's sick of Unicron, which always bums me out, because I'm like, I like that concept a lot, but I know why people get sick of it. That's why, I actually greatly enjoy disengaging from wider conversations sometimes, so that I just don't hear about what people get sick of and I can just keep having my fun. Because at the end of the day, what's the most important thing in the hobby space? Your own personal fun. Well, I don't really think Hasbro does much to try to convince you they're necessary other than just, like, mention them by name now and then. It's not that big a deal. So many of them already don't even really exist in most fiction. Also, dang, this is like a... I didn't think so many of these things would go into the one spot. Wait, is this going on who I'm putting it on, or is it going on someone else? Oh, I'm supposed to open this. Okay, so, because I was curious, like, you know, how much this literally looks like, you know, Yonder Slug. So they want you to open this up to reveal a hole. Like, what actually has me really interested in Age of the Primes, is that they are going to be, for the most part, bespoke toys. Which means that given that most of them don't really exist in fiction, they're basically just a bunch of Transformers OCs, which is my favorite kind of toys to look forward to. So Age of the Primes I'm into because they're just making me 13 OCs to mess around with. And if you use the Binder of Revelation as was actually intended, you're not going to be looking at them like, oh, but this, but which version, which version are, because the whole point of the binder was that it was a monomyth to just, like, draw inspiration from. So you just look, you know, if you want to know, if you want to, you know, to pull out some character traits for one of them, you just kind of go like, well, what's their list of things they do? And if one of them looks cool, you go like, I'm gonna give them that one. If none of them look cool, then just, like, make up your own. Like, they all come with, like, a, what do you call it? They come with an artifact thing, which, to me, is just some gorgeous headcanon fuel. Now you got your Alchemist Prime. He comes with a giant pair of glasses. And they've got, like, 2 symbols on them. You can already start inventing what all is going on there. But yeah, like, they always imply the 13 in a lot of fictions. It's just they barely talk about them, so to me, I just don't think they've been in much Transformers, because for the most part they haven't. They've just been like, look over there! Look at the 13! And it's like, oh yeah, one of them has 4 arms and one is a woman. And then you don't see them again. And then every now and then they'd be like, we've pulled 2 of them out. And you're like, is one of the ones you pulled to use the Fallen? And they're like, yeah, it is. And it's like, all right. Yeah, Cypher, that's kind of sort of what I was alluding to a little bit. Like, yeah, if you've been overexposed to the 13, it is in part because you're just hella into Transformers, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. But I am big on, like, you know, identify where the discrepancies are coming from in your experience. Why 13, not 14? Well, because 13 is a mysterious number. 13 is, like, it has good syllables. You know, when you're like, this is Agency 13. If you're like, it's Agency 14, most people, I can't explain to you entirely why, but you heard it, right? Agency 13 versus Agency 14. Like, one of those just sounds more sinister. The 69 Primes. Fellator. And just cloaca. Anyway, let's have a look, see at what they all look like. Here is Goryu, and here is Kakuryu, and here is Doryu, and then check out how I remember all their names perfectly. Look, it's Rai Ryu, and then over here we've got Gai Ryu, and then bringing up the rear we've got Yokuryu. So, I'm going to try to turn these into little robots. The 69th Prime. Like, there could have been that many at a certain point in history, right? Like, it stands to reason. Their names just ending no... Yeah, they're all dragons of sorts, because their names are all Ryu, but then they're called the Dino Force, not the Ryu Force, which could have been, you know, slap the languages together a little bit. Oh, to remember all the aerial bot names, you had to have just spent enough years as a very young fan in younger internet, mixing up Air Raid and Slingshot, and the other one. Because Fireflight's easy because he's red. Alright. So this is not in release order, but as I said, I never messed with any of these. I only ever saw them in packaging. So I know they're core classes, so I'm not going to be sitting there going like, I can't believe that more isn't happening or something like that. You know, I got reasonable expectations. Yeah, Timmy and Scott, that's part of the reason is I care about them a lot because of my own videos, but outside of that, it's mostly just, like, I think planes are cool. Why aren't you playing with your toys in the order another set of toys were released? It's a valid question, and it's one that I will be passing along to, I'll be passing that along to my, PR liaison, who I'll be revealing at a later date, in a really cool new color scheme. This guy does look pretty dang cool, though. Giving him the club is absolutely clutch here, and obviously having a new little head helps a lot. I spent a non-zero amount of time thinking he was the only one with a new head, but my understanding is they all have new heads. Minasan! Yeah, it's a good Oni club. And I do like that it has a 5mm port on both sides, so you can maximize your Evo fusion. Yeah, Tom bought the swoop one was the one that confused me when I saw a photograph, so I was like, wait, is that new? Oh, do the dab test. Thank you, Long was here. Oh, dang, look at that! He gets it. And there's a waist joint, holy moly. Yeah, he gets it. No elbows, yet dabs naturally. Yeah, waist joint S tier toy. Let's pop you with your friggin' swoop-ass knees with feet in them. Oh, that's... I was kind of... Low-key, I was kind of hoping that this would be able to do, like, the swoop trick where, like, these collapse in a natural way. But also, I never really can get that angry when a robot just has wings. Because then a robot has wings. Oh, it was already facing the right way. Just tilt it up. So yeah, this is just swoop. Does this... Like, am I just holding this awkwardly? I assume I am. It's the part where the enormous mass, number one, extends all the way back here and then just has a tiny little nozzle on the end. It's like, I have perhaps not the most powerful gun, but I basically have infinite ammunition. That's cool. I'm guessing that this little brick here is supposed to be a bunch of weapons, but I don't know precisely who uses what. I'm just going to put the little brick off to one side for now. Ah! The gun is called the Bird Flipper. Seems a little bit obvious on the branding, if I'm being honest. Is there a gut tie reason for this? Because, like, these shoulder things, they are detented and they are friggin' tight. And once I finish putting the obvious weapons with the obvious folks, I might glance at the Instructio book. Just to see, like, who do you want me to give things to? Not that your opinion matters, baka. Okay, they really did do, like... It's, like, molded in with that big plate, I think. But yeah, they actually did his little head. That's cute. It is doing a lot of work that not only do they have new little heads, but, like, so far, like, they're all pretty nicely painted, too. Like, having that blue tinge on the faceplate's doing wonders for this. Yo, Fuzzy Bunny Man! Take it easy, Aaron. I pronounced tsundere as sun deer for like 10 years. Ah, yeah. That'll happen. But yeah, when I was mathing out the price tag on this set, the new heads and new parts, when I added it all together, I was like, okay, I kind of get it. But I think that maybe this will stop at some point. You know, don't have to spoiler me or anything, but like, so far the new heads and then also the paint on the new heads, it feels like a 1-2 punch. So am I just right in thinking that, like, on Volcanicus, it's just I'm gonna shoot you with the head of the combiner, because that's sort of funny. Got some folks pranting? What the hell is pranting? Practicing their tsun in the chat. I appreciate it. By the way, I love this. This is why on HasLab Lyokaiser, when they were like, especially on that update where they're like, we're going to paint it to look even more like a missile rack, I'm like, no, this is fine. I don't care if it sticks out like a sore thumb. As long as you are implying to me that they are doing something, I love this kind of stuff. pranting is when you prance like a prat. Pranting is when you prance about while ranting. I mean, that's my... I just do all that anyway. So this is the one I remember being kind of funky when the sludge version came out in, like, was it Wave 1? So I am aware that this one is kind of a funny one. But I liked what it was doing to be funny. At least, you know, from photographs. I was like, I dig why they're doing this. I kind of like it even. It is kind of messed up. If this is the one I'm thinking of. It's like, I see what it is in service of, and I don't hate... Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so there's... If you just look at it, there is a leg. But if you look at it for just a little bit too long, you're like, wait a second. Wait, hold on. Wait. Oh, no, never mind. It's fine. So all things considered, I think I still actually like this. Like, when I first saw a photo of the sludge version and I kind of understood what was happening, I was like, you know, I think that's kind of a clever solution, all things considered. Doesn't mean everyone has to love it, but I was just like, no, I actually kind of dig that as a solution. It's sort of messed up, but fun. So, can I stick these onto his back? I can't. Can I stick these onto the shoulders? Not in a satisfactory way. Mistake boy, I'd grab a burger with him. Yeah, I would too. Well, yeah, you grab burger with him, right? And then when he goes to sit down in his seat, you'd be like, what? Wait, how do your legs work? Why are your thighs part of your hip and not part of your leg? But then when he sits down, actually, wait a second. Then when he actually sits down, it looks natural again. This guy's a chameleon. You always remember. Our parents called me the chameleon. You can't just ask someone why their thighs are part of their hip and not their leg. I mean, it depends. I don't disagree, but, like, it depends how long you've known them, right? Oh, there's a little peg. There's a little peg here. So we just hold... He just dual wields... That's great. No, they have little hand pegs, so he just holds them like this. Ask me about my legs again, you stupid mother... Wait, flip out pegs too? We talking about the same thing? Oh, down here, I see. Oh! So they don't have to be on that angle, they can also just be like, oh, okay. I just like this though, like they gave you this little handhold peg. Just so this little guy can look as peak ridiculous as possible. What would a chair look like if the human knee bent the other way, Stratastrong? I think it would look... I think at that point we would just be crossing into a world where, like, two of our senses, their input valves have been swapped, like their input systems have been swapped. It's like an unknowable world at that point, right? Or, I mean, yeah, now that I'm seeing y'all saying stools... That actually just makes a lot of sense. Stools would just be seats on sticks. Yeah, that... Here I am trying to have beautiful thoughts with a beautiful mind. And then here come all these scientists. Corrito! Yeah, it is me. I apologize. Dang, the Snarl mold actually kind of kicks ass. Am I missing something? Oh, that just plugs in. Okay. Yeah, look how much paint they got on the new head. Like that's eyes, face, inner helmet, outer helmet's like plastic color, I guess. But still, that's like 3 pretty tiny paint apps. Is this as far out as these go? I don't want to force them. Another waist too? Holy crap. They go back further. Okay. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Cypher. And everyone else. Yeah, the thump was important. And just friggin' look, a tiny scythe. Just a tiny little scythe. Again, waist joint S tier toy, yeah. Psycho Jenny, it's like, I guess double sword-ish if one of the swords is just a friggin', I guess a sickle more than a scythe. Is this one? No. What would this be? I mean, there, now it's a sword. Yeah, it's I think it's supposed to be, because you can't double fist it because he's got little hands, but... Oh, we haven't been doing... We'll do the dab test later. Now, well, we can catch up. We can catch up. I think this little guy actually can't. Oh, no. Never mind. Never mind. Kind of dabbing. Can you plug something on top of the scythe? Yeah, it's got a 5mm port at the top. So you can plug all kinds of things up there. Yokuryu has a scythe in the anime, so you can give it to him if you want to. I guess, but like, this guy was carrying it. I'm one of those people where I'm like, if he's carrying it, now it's his. It's a pretty solid, actually, if I get this up. Ball socket assisted, pretty solid dab. Well, Adam Bilmu, there's no hammer though. We gotta bear that in mind. We gotta be fair and balanced. Tombot, I use that same rationale for stealing from the grocery store. Yeah, me too. Although I've never committed theft my entire life, but it is a sound logic. Whoop. Friction. Okay, a sickle is almost always a circle, so that is a scythe. Size not defined by size, but the blade shape. Yeah, I was thinking of in terms of like whether you're using it like, you know, a little thing or a big one, but it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's the blade shape. I was worried that the little he even has a friggin' waist joint. The guy with the messed up hips and mildly messed up arms, but he is able to pull a certain camera angle dab. Like, I'm assuming that the DNA kit for these included stuff like the trident. That's not a waist joint, it's a stomach joint, it's a chest joint, midriff joint. Listen, when you look like this, right? I think we can just say that your waist maybe just moved up to get out of the way of the danger. It's just it's high waisted trousers, you know? Alright, now let's hit the little darling in Dinobot colors. The new character. For the first time ever, a new Dinobot. I know, I'm doing a bit. A joint is a joint, just smoke it, true. Oh, waist joint as part of the transformation. Hello. Oh, okay. I thought there was just gonna be a face there. That's kind of sick. Also, jeez, look at the head. Look at the little smirk. That rules. All right, it's finished. Oh, you're gonna get this. You see the friggin' butterfly joint there. Yeah, S tier dabbing set, waist joint. Yeah, I remember this was the one where some people were like, this might be another one to just consider getting for, like, as a single toy who's just fun. Alright, let's see where they think that the rest of these go. Alright, Hasbro. Let's see if you know where to put your Dino Force weapons. And then someone's just like, why are we making these wretched noises? Oh, ho, hey, well, ho. Okay, so they're actually saying, like, don't shoot with the head. Put the head back here. And then give him 2 weapons. Oh, just give him the weapon pack. Okay. They're actually implying that you should sort of soft transform it, even. Yeah, they're like, turn that and then twist that. And use this as a weapon. But why is the gun pointing backwards? Like, I like that as an axe shape. That's cool. It's just, why is this little thing... What's going on here? It's a rocket-powered axe. Good call, Alan Weaver. Thrusters. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Y'all are right. Yeah, and there's even, you could put an effect part in there. I see it. Yeah, these little folks are fun. They didn't give Kakaryu his cruddy little 6-shooter. Like, having looked at the DNA Designs upgrade for the Dino Force here, I don't really want to buy it because it's expensive, and I think that it has... It's not... There's less to fix on this set for me because they give you the feet. However, speaking of fixes, speaking of the hands and feet and heads, I want to try combining these. I want to see how this feels. I'm going to take all the bits and pieces, just set them off to the side. Focus on these little bodies. I think I've gone on about it before on a stream, but I did have... Like, I would like to get the Volcanicus version of this someday. I would just like to get it all at once and for cheaper than retail, which is a bit of a big ask, but, you know, I'm a demanding person. Because I have a headcanon for Legacy Volcanicus specifically, which is that the core class is just a different G1 universe where everyone's short. And so the core class Dinobots, once they arrive in Legacy World, their way of dealing with the sheer humiliation of being so tiny than everyone else is they force learn how to gatai to become the size of a normal deluxe transformer. And I think there's something to that I very much enjoy. Also, yeah, Lee, correct. When they include the feet, I'm down. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm into it. But it's just when I remember at one point there was this sort of, you know, minor conversation topic of like, you know, the original Optimus and Megatron just don't appear in Legacy. And I was like, what if they do, but it's the core class versions? And since they're just like little short guys, nobody cares. Everyone just disrespects them. What did this look like again? It goes without saying, by the way, no actual disrespect to short kings and queens and, you know, every other regal title in between. Mostly just for the purposes of the headcanon and filling in some narrative gaps for me. Do you see Power of the Prime Slash fitting in with them? Possibly. Possibly. I could see Slash just appearing in that universe and going like, oh, more short ones. Corito, I will disrespect them. How's the weather down there, buddy? I don't know. I feel like you're asking for something to happen. Oh, here we go. Feels like something's going on. Or am I overthinking this? I think I am. How much pain would you all be in if I don't look at pictures and just sit here fiddling and futzing with this for a little while? You do you, boo-boo! Holy moly. I'm allowed to be a real boy. I am being given room to fumble and fail and learn. Wait a second. What's that? And how does it correlate to... This guy's got a little thing down there. Just say you're figuring out new fan modes. Yeah. 'Cause I feel like... Oh, I see. That's what that correlates to. That. There we go. Now we're making a little bricklet. What do I do with these? I don't think this is it, but it's kind of funny looking. Is there a tiny X everything app on the top left of the screen? Oh! Oh yeah, that got left behind. Don't worry, there's nothing. I'll just continue to move. I'm actually gonna put this here, and then we're gonna bip. Yeah, it's just a dead pixel. It's an old unused portal. Sometimes, if you really listen, you can hear someone on the other end of it screaming, "Chris, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you." Etc. I'm very happy for you. I'm gonna kill you. The right one tabs in, the left one sort of just hangs there. What's different about them? Significantly less anger coming from the portal today. Yeah, it's weird. The portal doesn't seem to be so mad today. Keep an eye on the back of the net. Oh! Wait. What? Oh, I was doing it right! So they do just form like a funny little hat? Like, I don't think that's right, but that is really funny. Actually, wait, maybe that is right. When else would I use that one little tab? Oh, they are just supposed to hang off the sides. Oh, okay. The one on your right just lays flat. I'm guessing they both kind of just hang out like that. What, has the right side over the head, but not the other one? What? That's messed up. Oh, one has to be out of the way for combined mode articulating. Okay, okay. Let's do the other one then. Okay, yeah, it'll make sense in combined mode, I see. I was so confused there. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Why would they do it like that? Mom! Alright, that doesn't make a difference. What were the devs thinking? The game balance is basically non-existent. I could code a better game than this, and I don't even know what coding looks like. It doesn't secure. Okay, you got me. You saw what I was trying to do then. Okay. You saw my funny little struggle there for a second. The PvP on this combiner is whack. And then PvP comes swinging in like, can you imagine if that combiner stomped on my balls? I still, ever since someone showed me that clip from that Solus Prime video, that's like my primary exposure to Prime versus Prime now. It's just this one time where out of nowhere he's like, stomping the balls! Alright, so I got back to Dino mode. That's obviously not what we're trying to be doing here. Well, it's like some bit in the Prime versus Prime review for Solus Prime where he, like, focuses in on the... Oh, that's an arm! Thank you, Coach. It's because he's thick. I was just like, surely he's a foot. Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense in every direction now. But yeah, there was this Prime versus Prime video for Solus Prime, and then he's like, focuses in on her shoe, and is like, can you imagine getting stomped in the... I keep misremembering it as worse now. Because I don't remember something about the knackers, but like, I just keep remembering it as like, can you imagine getting your balls stomped to paste and ground beneath the beautiful heel of this? Alright, swift kick in the knackers, that's what it was. Oh, okay, sorry, I just found, yeah, I saw you mentioned, now I lost who mentioned it. Where'd you go? Red Snarl, thank you. Yeah, the little tab-in spots there. It's the only part of the review I've seen because someone clipped it. I was laughing my head off because I was like, where's this coming from? No kink shame. Whatever. I'm down with it. Go for it. It's your bag. Yeah, Lie keeps bringing it. Lie and Quacky kept it in my memory long enough for it to, like, get cemented. Oh. No? Wait. Kink shaming is my kink. Damn. Yeah. No, I think I just misremembered it as far worse, but, like, also I find it funnier to remember it that way. Smashing cloaca. I also don't remember which side this... Oh, wait, I can tell from here. He's the right-hand side. Okay. Woo! It's that Sentinel Prime action everyone was asking for. Wrong figure! Is this our elbow, by the way? Am I looking at this the right way? Oh, wait, I was just looking at this. Yeah, okay, here we go. I was looking at the wrong hunk. I saw, like, the keyed bit up here, but I was matching it to, like, this stuff, not up here with that stuff. Okay. He's the other foot, right? Because he's got the thing up here. It's a gorilla-style arm normally. I know, but I kind of guesstimated that from the way this was sitting, but I was like, well, if I just stick him in like this, and then start twisting it myself... Because, yeah, clearly, like, this is the neutral position. Ooh! Thank you, Crystal, for looking it up. It's just imagine getting a kick in the... Just imagine getting a kick in the knackers from these bad boys! Yeah, I don't know why, I parse it as just getting much more, visceral and direct. I think it would be funnier. If I were to drop a little crit on the delivery. Oh, these are not the same hands. I did not know that. So these are like, okay, the Volcanicus ones don't have wrist joints. Huh. I just assumed these were the same hands. Dang. Tonbot, that is how I just remember these things. The 10-minute rant about wanting to get balls stomped on, yes. The famous rant from that one video review. Doesn't everyone remember it? Okay, Kotu, I don't know if you're making that up. Now I'm the mark. Never gonna get quote. Never gonna get over. I'm being. Are you? Never going to get over how he randomly started talking about Wreck-Gar lactating on Unicron in his SS-86 review. So, like, maybe the Solus thing is only shocking because I just don't follow his work that much. I like how this is everyone finding this out. Yeah, I was gonna say, V-Rider, don't a lot of people watch his videos with the sound off? Like, maybe that's the whole, maybe this is the real gambit. Is where this whole time, he's like, I know none of you are listening to me. So I'm gonna speak to you real. I'm gonna speak to you in reality. This is some of the funniest. I just love the friggin', you can hear the record scratch. It's like, I'm sure I've talked about lactating before, but I mean, like, I feel like I established, you know, I established some standards in what I was talking about. You could never say, like, damn, did you hear Vangelus said lactating? It'd be like, yeah, okay, no, I've heard, that seems likely. Oh, V-Rider, thank you. I think I got I had a moment where I forgot that this plate was gone, so I was like, how do these face the other way? And then I remembered there's this plate. Because I remember this is what the foot looks like. I just didn't realize it was over the arms. Yes, thank you, Zero. I don't just talk about lactate. I educate. Now, for those who know, morphology, happy Enos. For those who know. Okay, so this is obviously going to be combiner hip. Where do babies come from? Well, you know, Big Stork likes to take a lot of credit for a lot of stuff storks do not do. You know? That's what I'll say up front. That's what I think they'll let me say, you know, before they try to shut me down. I know morphology and you're talking nonsense. No, it's happy Enos. 2 minutes into the record. Are you? It's like, no, we are fact checking. All right, so I'm really happy, and maybe I missed or saw a photo and just forgot about it. Someone had to have shown this. I like that you can just big boots. I had to know. I got big boots and I can dance, da 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 da. You know that famous song from the musical? I do like that these have like a little tab-in spot here to just like hold it together. My special boots, da da da. Alright, so this is coming off, I'm sure. It's the opposite of Short King Devastator. His special boots, there are no others like them. So here's a spot, again, where I feel like I am likely to... Because I can, obviously, right? Obviously, We're going like... I think we're going like this? But then what the hell else am I doing? This part's a little... I like how everyone kind of... It was like, okay, shut up about the... Shut up about the lactating for a second. He's at the hard part. Everyone's just like, lock in for a moment. Okay, so you're where the shoulders are going to go. Noticing that these legs don't actually seem to relate to any of that stuff I just found on the arms. I forgot about this tailpiece. And this piece. Look at how that just happens to fit like that. Oh! Ksama! Yokaro! Kono boya! So da ne. I still don't understand where the shoulders are going to go. But there are also bits and pieces I haven't really, like, messed with yet. Was I on the right track of just folding this over? Like, is he just potato form when he goes on? Okay, he's just potato form. Alright. That'll save us about 30 minutes of stream, then. Oh! The feet even, like, kind of slot into little divots in the round white bits. Oh. I am leaving the feet off for the moment just because I want to see what, you know, this looked like, you know, as Hasbro intended. Wait, did I do this? Yeah. This is what you mean about the articulation, I'm guessing. One more step for the torso. Plug the arms together. Oh! I just noticed that. There they are! Is this ever locked down? I'm getting a lot of little peaks here. Yeah, that's sick. I like that. Because these were these were the first two, right? It was these two? Because I remember the thing that did vaguely attract me to them still was that you could just get these two, form this, and then stick Weaponizer and Junkion parts on to fill in the rest. I thought that was very thematic for the line. I'm gonna freely shill for Hasbro. I mean, they might, you know, might still get that bag, as they say. Maybe if Hasbro... Oh, wait a second! I was just talking about, oh, I wish that these wings could do the curl-in bit. There's a tab and a slot here, and they just friggin' do this! Naruhodo! Chest panels of Jesus, you're right. Thank you, Picky. Yeah, up here. These also plug into the little fist holes. Ugh, this is really hard. Ugh. That's just the sound of my knuckles popping. What's up, Rock Nerd Radio? Hontoni. Summer. I'm just realizing too, this can kind of slide over there a little bit. Flip up the crotch plate. Oh, well, look at that! They painted it and everything, so you flip it up and now he's got the full crotch. I had no idea. That's kind of cool, because now it looks like... Does it flip up, like... Does it plug in? Nah. It just sits, right? So that's kind of cool. Like, I'm kind of guessing these do the old backward flippy. It flips up so Solus can stomp on his dino nuggies. True. I've always maintained it'd be very funny now if I ever actually encounter Prime versus Prime, like in conversation. Because I have been... My brain is so utterly polluted with garbage about, like, stuff like the Solus Prime clip, right? Where I'm just gonna... And now the lactation thing. Hi, Prime versus Prime. It's nice to meet you. How's... You got any... You got any... Hang on. You got any sick one-liners to drop about... about stomping a dude's balls till they lactate? Just let me know. It's like, excuse... Who? What? I thought this was a panel about reviewing toys. Twist waist. Oh, I see. Yeah. Whoa! I shot a wing there. Maybe these are supposed to be out. I just like how they look when they're folded up in this mode. Yeah, he just... like, I don't really... Because I just don't really have, like, a ton of interest in watching his stuff. So I just... I've now become really sold on like, my experience of just hearing about it, like, third hand. And just taking for granted, like, okay. Like, mostly just when I hear the weird, like, the out-of-pocket stuff, I'm like, no, I guess he said that. It's gonna be really funny if if he goes to a TFCon or something. I'm like, oh, Prime versus Prime, the lactation ball stomp guy. I'm guessing this just does this just plug in like back here as a heal? It kind of has heal vibes when I do this. I just realized I'd never done anything with this piece, so I'm guessing it just plogs. It just plogs on heal spot. Y'all play Plogs? It's the hottest new game. Goosh. Look at that. This is already kind of like, I know. Excuse me. I know. I know I can do one more thing, but this is actually kind of neat already. Sorry, I missed before. Am I missing anything else on this, or is it just waggly? I understand if it is. I just want to make sure I'm not missing. Given everything that happened up there, now I want to double check. Okay, it's just waggly. Okay. It's just waggly, then I'm over it. Adam Billmoo, by stream, you drained my battery like it was lactating. Refill! You know, build up that milk. Jesus. Oh, there we go. Can a guy not just exclaim after he says build up that milk? Yeah, that looks really cool. This little guy's, yeah, he's all hunkered up and freaky. I like him. Jesus milked for our skims. I like that. That's pretty cool. That's that kind of rules. All right. So then, can I not leave that in? Yeah, it doesn't fit as well. Oh. 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 So done. Ah. Sword goes up top. That's a loose fit. That's a real... The sword is a real jiggly fit. But it's not falling out. So damné. Where'd your little fist hole go? Wait, what? Oh, wait. I have to feed it through more. There we go. I like that. But that fits a lot easier. Yeah. I'm really good at knocking that piece off. This guy... He also does really look like he gets his ass kicked. Like, I mean that endearingly. Just so armed to the teeth, and he's like, Stosiba! Sama! And then just gets friggin' drop kicked. Oh yeah, he has a waist swivel. Oh, that's cool. There's some, yeah, there's dynamicism, and I like it. That arm will come off a lot. Okay, as long as it's not just mine. I know this isn't everyone at all, in any way, shape, or form, but when I have, like, when there's a bit that's wibbly like that, but then a bunch of people kind of tell me, like, nah, it's just how it is, that's mine too, then, like, I feel better about it for whatever reason, because I'm like, well, as long as it's not just mine. When it is just mine, that's when I get real salty. Oh, there's a hard border there. Okay. So he can dab, but he has to lean into it a little bit. Oh yeah, the brainstorm chest spring. Yeah, Fuzzy Buddy Man. It's like, as long as it's like how I am with some of the yellowing is a misnomer now, but you know what I mean. The fluororeactive discoloration. Since it kind of just randomly happens to everybody and there's nothing anyone can do about it, for some reason it bothers me less, because it's like, well, you know, it's not like I can preserve a beautiful copy with intent. Sir Shift, the T-pose. All right. You don't have to say it 6 times. That's a little bit much. It's gotta chill out a little bit. If you say it 6 times, you might not be aware of this, but like it causes something in your frontal cortex to have like a pulmonary buildup, and it's not dangerous, but it can give you like a real bad headache. Yeah, by nature of all the hunk and whatnot, it's kind of hard to get these up entirely 90 degrees out. So it's kind of like an umbrella tree. The dinosaurs are kissing. They are! It's like Magmatron all over again. Two of them can kiss as much as they like, and then, you know, the Dinoking head and the Kakaryu head, they're just like, you know, I was trying to work his mouth. I can't work his mouth. But they're just, yeah, they're getting no action. They have to just always listen. They can't even look. Ruby, if you say that 7 times fast, PvP will appear behind you in the mirror and lactate. Yeah, true. And not in the fun way. One of them is not a dinosaur. I mean... maybe they shouldn't have let him on the Dino Force then. The middle face does look like they're up to something all the time. They definitely know something that we don't. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, I just swallowed a lemon seed. Now I'm going to have a tree in me. I hope we're all happy. A dino bird and a big turt. But yeah, this is doing it for me. I do appreciate this thing. Can we get a little can I do this where this will still This setup is so weird. There we go. This is such a weird piece of design. Congrats on your tree, baby. Thank you. Sir Shift, you got to mellow out. I got something that can help you if you do need help mellowing out though. It's a trick I learned in another dimension. Okay, he can pop a little bit of a take-a-knee squat. Psycho Jenny, everyone has a messed up knee. True. In 2009, Russian botanist Artyom Sidorkin made medical history when surgeons discovered a 2-centimeter fir tree growing in his lung. I mean, if I could start spawning lemons... Yeah, Alexis Silver, like, that whole bit is, like, friggin' wild. It's a level of asymmetrical bespokeness I'm not used to seeing in a project like this, but I kind of dig it. Take it easy, Simeon Scott. Have a good rest. No, Alan, I'm not. I ain't gonna be. That would be really bad for my my acid reflux if I were to lactate lemonade. So no, I'm just gonna be spawning lemons, ideally. You know, just kind of sit there and every now and then go like, and then like, a lemon falls out. Lee Calba, lemons are a hybrid plant, which means that life has never actually given anyone lemons. We made the lemons. And really, is that not the truth in a lot of... Wait, did they get rid of Lemon Jolly Ranchers? Why? Why did... Not to... Listen, I don't mean to, like, get off topic here. Why do they keep taking away citrus candy? Why is it always, oh, we need more cherry and more strawberry candies. Bring the number of orange candies down. Throw out the idea of lime candies. Make lemon candies only the super sour ones. What happened to friggin... I would flush... in Skittles, I would flush grape. I would flush cherry. I would flush sour apple. You give me a pure yellow and orange Skittles bag, and I'm the happiest camper in the world. Citrus-only Skittles, where are they? Yeah, I know, blue raspberry. Yeah, I know, blue raspberry. I know, blue raspberry. I never liked cherry. You all thought cherry perished in that accident. No, I just opened the airlock and I said, good riddance. This is my friggin' what is it? What's the movie where the ship comes back from a portal in hell or whatever? This is where like I'm friggin' skinned and I have like 18 eyeballs over my head and I'm just like the ship tells me. That's my Event Horizon moment. Wow, Hasbro. I just like the idea that, like, you know, you knock a piece off the toy and you just start screaming at the corporation that manufactured it. I didn't get any natural lazy lazies yet. Yeah, I have seen like fruit slices. I like tart, chewable citrus candy. That's my jam. Yeah, Combiner mode got dedicated little ankle tilts. That's also why when I saw the DNA kit for this, I was like, I appreciate it, but like obviously, like the Volcanicus kit they did adds these. That obviously is adding a whole lot of stability and something, right? Whereas on this one, it's like, replace these. And it's like, well, I understand where they're coming from, but it just is less engaging to me. Also, it's really weird because, like, there is obviously these peg in, obviously, and can swivel on that. But with this weird leg especially, it almost works better to just use that as the thigh swivel. But then you're untabbing and retabbing this tail hunk, and it's so weird. I don't have Dollar General in Canada. Granted, I do have some like ways of getting what I want. Sour Keys is one. Got to leave them out to dry for a little bit. Haribo Twin Snakes is pretty decent. Pretty decent. I want to see what the instructions say for the for Gerald Ryu here for the wings. Whoa! Sorry, I just smashed you all in the jaw with my forearm. I apologize. But really, it was your fault for not smiling. Oh, okay, they do want them folded in. I have ways of getting what I want. Mafia music starts playing. You're not wrong, though. I guess maybe it works a bit better to just have these down for the wings. I guess trying to use this in this way is messing with some of the original intent of these things, but I also like my way more. He just ejected his shoes. He's like, I'm coming into the dojo. Do any of the individual Ryus stand out to you so far? Yeah, I think they all were kind of like, they all had little surprising bits and pieces. Obviously, just for my tastes, the ones who have waists and elbows were the ones that were really hitting it for me. Although, like, you know, the ones that don't have elbows generally have the kind of forearm sculpts that still, like, you know, make me happy. They all have such good head sculpts. Like, across the board, the new head sculpt and the paint delivery on them is, like, so friggin' solid. Also, I saw there's, you can, woo! It finally fell out. You can use, maybe I should just give this a little blorb. Some of my gloss varnish. The sword goes between the Stegosaurus' toes. I don't understand. Just giving this a little twist and coat. I'll let that air dry on the sword. I love that kind of stuff. That makes me happy. They had a spot for the gun that looked different, too. Oh, it was up there. Okay. Thought maybe I could get away with that, but no, it's up here. I enjoy stuff like that. There's a little tab hole on the Stegosaurus panel for the front of the sword tab. Oh, that's where the what do you call it? That's where I had stuck it, I think. Oh no, I didn't stick it there for the alt mode. It just is, it looks exactly the same because it is using the same tab. I do like that for the Volcanicus Gatai. Like, that's kind of cool. This guy has 2 pairs of butt heads. Well, really just like one main one, but it's more of a butt tail. Or a spinal head, I guess. A very dangerous shin. I wish, I mean, I'm a year and a half, I guess, late to the conversation. I wish that this did have, like, some kind of, like, lockdown position. Only because, like, this feels so silly. That is a lumbar head. Thank you, Picky Peeves. Anything hanging off the back is automatically a jetpack. True. Also, by the way, it's a small thing. I love giant combined instruction sheets like this. There's something about these that feel like super premium to me. I can't explain why. Wow, Hasbro, why don't you make the feet connect to the ankles? Lazy design. Ugh. I guess someone was really phoning it in that day, huh? No, wait, what's the most irritating version of this? Guess they thought they could sneak that by me, huh? Try another day, Hasbro. Can't sneak that one by me. I don't know. It doesn't actually matter all that much. It's just little things that I block in my head as like caricature type stuff. I'm getting a migraine. Are you telling me that a peg will come out of a hole if I pull on it? Fans Toys would never. I don't know if I can get that far. I don't think I can. I couldn't maintain kayfabe for that. I'd fall apart. I'd just be like, no, this is BS. I'm not saying anything I mean. I do like that, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like a firm grip on the thigh and then just pressing down, like, pushes the feet in and pushes the pegs in all at once. Oh, because I didn't say it on the stream. I was only saying it in the Discord. I want to give Fans Toys their flowers on this. I watched the video on how their scavenger works, and I don't really want it to own it, but I am really fascinated by what they are doing with their Constructicons as a theme. Maybe now that we've looked at Dinoking a lot, still got a little bit of time here. I'll pop over to their video and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. We did this with Marg before and it was kind of fun. I think it's, given the interests I have in these kind of things with transforming robots, I think it's fun and it's also fair to take some academic interest in what things are doing, especially when they do things that I think are actually kind of neat. So I will pop this up. It's just a really weird idea because it rides extremes that I feel Fans Toys often don't seem to have much prerogative to engage with. Where are we at? There it is. So, let's see. I'll have the desktop audio. Actually, no, they're just playing. I can't remember if you can hear the toy noises or not. I'll leave it at 24, but that's just music, actually. Never mind. Cut it out. Bugle. Oh, you like my keyboard? Yeah, I'm still on this desktop. I'm still rocking. Let me show you. I'm still rocking my my weird 40% keyboard. Well, why wouldn't he come with a bugle? You saying that he should, just because he's an evil robot, he shouldn't have any interest in the arts? I mean, I say that as we're frozen on gun. Skysu, I will say handling Fans Toy Scrapper for a week convinced me to pick up the Mecha Invasion set instead. Yeah, their Scrapper didn't really interest me that much in any way. Like, I was like, well, it's neat. And I was like, at the time, I was like, okay, it's interesting that he's got this little, folding hump that you can just, like, leave stored on him, but it is there for the leg mode to form, like, inner structure in the heel, but it stores on him. And, like, that was interesting. So they take it a step further on this one in a way that is neat. The transformation, by the way, is... I actually liked it up until the arms. Because it's very simple. It is just like, you know, fold this guy up. And if you haven't heard me talk about this before, currently Fans Toys are making the best-looking transformation tutorial videos, like, by the company making the toys that I have seen to date. These are extremely nicely made videos, and full kudos to whoever I hope is getting paid to make these. But the way the arms work, there's a whole lot of rotate 180 degrees where I'm like, why? His arms are a rectangle, and then they form the side of a rectangle. So, like, why are we... like, why are we doing all... And then up there, on the edge, now the whole arm has to rotate 180 degrees again. And, like, it's to move axes around a little bit, but I'm like, dog is made entirely out of boxes. Like, Skysu, Scrapper's arms were like that too. Really? Because that's the part of this that made me, like, I was actually sitting there like, dang, you know, if someone ever just, like, offloaded one of these for super cheap, it'd be kind of neat to mess around with, until I got to the arms, and I was like, okay, that looks sort of annoying. Not that, like, if I were actually genuinely intrigued by this set to the point of purchase, I don't think that would turn me off it. It just was, like, this weirdly specific thing, right? Anyway, you see up there's an interesting little hump in there. Keep in mind that funny-looking hump up there. Because, like, these legs, I think, are neat. I think it's kind of cool that they went for smooth, funny-looking legs that have, like, a pseudo-hidden knee joint. Like, that's interesting. But it is, like, a super rote transformation as well, because it's, like... It's basically, what do you think he's going to do? He does it, except the arms are way more finicky for some reason. I don't like that hand gesture on Scavenger's taint. Well, you know, I mean, you know, you don't have to look. So, like, as a standalone figure, I was intrigued, and then the more I saw, the more I was like, we're tweaking stuff for stuff nobody is ever going to have noticed if you didn't do it. That's unfortunate. But the cool bit, I'm going to fast forward. The cool bit is in the combination sequence. Because, you know, look, he turns into this. And that's nice looking. That's pretty. It's green and a thing. You know, that's cool. So when we go to Combiney, it's up here. It's up here. Oh, wait a second. They make it so... Okay, so they can make as many die-cast rectangles as possible to upcharge the price. True. Anyway, the bit I wanted to talk about is up here. Because I pointed out, you could kind of see there was, like, stuff in the chest, right? Or in the torso. And so Scrapper had this weird green just thing that you stuck on his back, and you could stick it on the back of the vehicle mode, and it was an unfoldy bit that formed Devastator's heel and some inner structure for the foot. And it's like, well, that's neat. If you're going to have add-on bits, I kind of like the idea that they're treated as accessories that transform into a shape and stick on the figure, and it's not just like, we have this whole extra piece of a man that doesn't do anything and you stick a guy into it. So the first trick here is you can see they have little fake treads for the shoulders. That's whatever. But then you see the hand there, right? So there's just this brick that you remove. So when I saw the whole bit about, like, yeah, you just take this out, I was like, huh? I think this is kind of neat. So it's the forearm, right? But they made it so the forearm integrates, kind of. It's a transforming accessory. I think that's a very interesting idea. As opposed to just having a block that you have sitting on the side of the table until you make the arm mode. He has a little compressing brick that sits inside his guts. So the way the brick works is a little bit goofy. And it's to the point where I'm kind of like, given the Masters Fans Toys chooses to serve, I'm kind of like, hopefully they find this interesting, because it is, but I wonder if perhaps you are courting disaster by introducing that kind of stuff to an audience who don't potentially care about it. I do also like what the legs do, if we see it here. Because they kind of do a neat self-fold to form a little purple brick. Yeah, you like undo an inner hinge thing so you can fold them onto themselves. Or once you get the feet away, whatever. This bit here. It's like there's a little latch you undo to unlock like a secret not knee joint. Anyway, that's the end result there. Oh yeah, here we go. So here's the brick. So this thing is a little overwrought for the sake of getting very thin, but there's something about it I find really endearing. Just given who is making this. That like, yeah, we're gonna make a funny little brick. Like we're gonna take the forearm and we're gonna have it like self-compress multiple times over so you can store it inside of Scavenger's body. Because the amount of work involved, and given that it still only turns into a combiner part, I'm kind of like, maybe you would have just been better off having this hang out outside, but I like the gusto regardless. And yeah, you have to, like, those little latches undo like a hidden lock so that now you can push the fist back through. I like this. This is a T-slot connection. More companies should use T-slots like this. Mecha Invasion uses that for Hook on his legs. But yeah, I think this is neat. It doesn't mean like, oh, I'm going to buy this, but like, I think this is a super neat idea from a company who could have easily just, like, Fans Toys could have easily just done the X-Transbots thing of just having like a giant thing that you stick a little pod of robot onto, like with whatever the, I guess is it their scrap? One of them just comes with like a giant limb with a hole in it. Okay! And yeah, obviously. But yeah, I kind of thought that was cool. They aren't showing it. Like, the hand has some good articulation. They put spread joints into the fingers, which makes me happy. Because if it's this giant hand, it should have spread. But yeah, I was like, I am more warmed up to the Fans Toys Devastator than I ever thought I would be. My main thing is I want to know how their long haul works, because that's going to be the interesting one. Because, like, I'm curious, like, what his gut type parts are, and also how they would hide them on him. Are they just are they gonna go with the Commander class approach of just making it turn into a little trailer? Or are they gonna try to, like, have it self-compress into a slab that, like, rams up his spine or something? I'm now way more interested in spectating the Fans Toys Devastator than before. Because before I was just kind of like, well, that and X-Transbots are the ones who are trying to do Sunbow models to a fault, so, like, have fun. But, no, it was pretty neat. Yeah, and this is actually part of one of... to kind of tangent a little bit. Let me take a sip. This is part of a concept that I presented in my de-stressing panel that I really want to get into repeating more and more, because I think it's a really important one, in part for our just general collector mental health, but also our ability to have interest in the hobby without slamming doors shut, if that makes sense, necessarily, which is enjoying the experience of others. So, like, being able to kind of just, like, look at something like this, and, like, in my case, like, my description of it in this context would be, I am now actually kind of enjoying watching these Fans Toys instructional videos for their more interesting pieces. For the most part, I see that I don't really want to own them, but it's a fun way to still experience what they are doing, you know, have some opinions on it, have some interest in it, and then go like, anyway, I have experienced the part I was interested in, and then, like, move along without it being like a whole, like, but these MFs, let me tell you why I'm not buying their stuff. If that makes any sense. I think that when it comes to, with your friends, a way to describe it is like taking genuine interest, you know, if you have it, in something that they've picked up. Like, let's just say, you know, you're looking at Dinoking. You're like, dang, that Dinoking's actually kind of neat. And you're maybe enjoying, like the way that the head's turned out. You're enjoying some of the tricks. And, like, being able to do that without feeling, because it's one thing to say doing it without feeling compelled to buy it yourself. That's easy enough. But, like, well, easy enough, right? But, like, being able to welcome and take interest in something like that, and then go like, anyway, that's my experience with the toy, and I'm happy enough with it being my experience with the toy, with someone else's that I viewed and you know, took enjoyment from viewing for a bit. Yes, Guy Sue, to quote, "It's like how my best friend experiences these toys and their engineering through me." Yeah, Lee Kalba, this has been my experience with third party for the most part. Yeah. Like, 'cause I think that there is a propensity, and I'm definitely not saying, like, you know, always be positive, blah, blah, blah. It's just that in a world where I find negativity still tends to rule the day, or unconstructed negativity or unconstructed positivity, both tend to rule the day now that we are in, you know, like the super hype era as well. But I think that there is more value to be had, and also just more general good brain chemicals to generate just from being able to go like, you know, I'm not going to buy that, but I am interested in seeing how it works, and I want to experience someone else's time with it, and also take satisfaction from that. Like, as a concept, I feel that is not hugely common, at least in conversation. Obviously, we all do it in our own ways. I just don't know if we all like consciously do it in our own ways. And specifically in the context of being parts of this hobby that we all are ostensibly connected to in one way or another. That face when no friends that have hobbies. Well, that's what, Alexis Silver, that's why you got all of us. Tombot, I find people tend to try too hard to have super strong negative opinions on things, basic things. Yeah, and that's kind of one of the inspirations for this bullet point on a slideshow, was sort of witnessing some of that and kind of going like, you know, obviously, like, I always want to couch in this. You can also, you know, be critical on things, like, that's fine. It's just like, in the wider broad strokes where we're no longer talking about individual people, I feel there is an overpropensity, especially still, of, I can't afford it, so I gotta figure out why I don't like it. Whereas, like, you could also just not afford it, like it, and then get a version of your enjoyment of it through someone else's shared experience. Ideally, someone you actually, you know, converse with in some way. But, because I don't want to turn this into something where it's like, simply watch videos of people playing with toys, because at the end of the day, that's not going to hit the same, necessarily, I don't think. But, I don't know, I hope that makes sense. It's one of those thought processes where I'm still kind of like, I'm trying to kind of figure out the words, because I think there is some import to that notion. And obviously, in the current interesting times we live in, I am feeling more and more interested in, like, how do we kind of make sure our hobby time is mostly, like, good times for us? Even if, like, you know, the good times is kind of like, you know, I there are folks who just have a good time, like, you know, going hypercritical on a thing, and that's fine. But, like, I think some of you, going by what some of you have said, maybe you know what I mean. Like, you know, when you see the person who, you know, person X might kind of feel like maybe they are trying to be hypercritical out of a sense of obligation or out of a sense of diffusing temptation. And I feel like, wouldn't it, especially if it's diffusing temptation, wouldn't it be better if we if we sorted out, if we figured out some road mapping of how to normalize, like, just enjoying someone else's time with something? Sorry, I meant person ZX. They need all the help they can get. Like, they're currently being written by Matt Moylan, and like, unfortunate. I am interested in this guy. Oh, Akan Lord. Sorry, I mixed you up with Tomball because you both have the same color circle. Yeah, I think he's very fun. Like, his extra cost comes through in the accessories that would include the feet. And every single one has new heads, including Dinoking, so that's 7 new heads. I was told during this, I didn't know this, the hands are new and improved on this one. Well, one of us is going to have to change. Oh, what's up, Rider Strike? You say you notice that so much around anime Blu-rays these days too. That's so wild because, like, I mean, maybe I'm assuming a certain level of comfort with this tone in that community, but like, when it comes to anime Blu-rays, like, if you can't get it but your friends did, can they not rip it for you? Is kind of my train of thought. Obviously, I'm not like, don't buy Blu-rays, just rip them. Like, I want to buy Blu-rays. I can't afford a lot of Blu-rays because I buy too many toys. That's my problem. But something that, that I use to kind of, like, to process and deal with the fact I can't buy every Blu-ray I want is like, well, someone's going to have bought it, and that means someone will rip it, and so if it becomes out of print and impossible to get, somewhere out there it will exist. So I kind of like, that's my solace I take. Yeah, someone said that the Volcanicus... Someone said the Volcanicus ones didn't have wrist articulation. So I assume that's what's up there. Let it rip! There we go. Yeah, Akan Lord, I never got the Volcanicus guys either, so this was actually kind of fun for me because it was basically 6 brand new toys. That's why I wanted to stream it, because I was excited to, like, have a bunch of folks hanging out who I could, like, pester for information. Take it easy, Shane. Ruby, if you're the type to be buying Blu-rays, you aren't satisfied with the rip. I guess, how do I put it? For me, as a type who wants to buy Blu-rays, my reasoning is less... I mean, I want the visual quality, but my reasoning is more to own it. Or not even to own it, but to have it available specifically. That's why I guess I defer to, like, if I miss out on it, but I know friends who have it, at least a digital rip could eventually manifest. But yeah, really the only thing about this that's, like, real janky weird, and I'm told that everyone, knew about this already, is just, like, this funny looking arrangement here. Which is necessary, but it's so odd. Psycho Jenny, been spoiled by private trackers back in the day. Yeah, I feel like, if I want to find something, I can find it, but I no longer feel like I know where to look for anything. Swoop's fist splits in half to make his missiles. Oh, thank you, Red Snarl. Yeah, this one demonstrably, I think, does not. Okay, Rider Strike confirming. I understand what you mean then, but yeah, yeah, definitely. Even in that community, like, there is to me there is nothing more of a bummer to watch, not even interact with, just to watch. Than someone trying to convince themselves they don't like something because they can't afford it. Because, like, I don't know, I always just detect this inherent sadness of, like, it's like... it's not the same as, like, kicking a puppy, but it feels that way almost, because they're just like, there's like, I don't want it. So I don't even really like the colors, and I think that the arm gimmick is a little overwrought, and the transformation step 14 is just really off-putting to me. And like, I just feel like they're, I feel like they're just punching themselves in the jaw, and I'm like, oh man, like, stop it. You don't have to do this to yourself. It can split if you're not a coward. True. And yeah, like, and I do want to say, like, because all of this has a lot of nuance, right? There are also folks who just, when they can't afford something, they have that extra time to think about it, they can sort it out. But I feel like my shorthand, given that every time I use this kind of shorthand, and like at least one person goes like, oh yeah, like, it is enough of a thing that is regular. If someone in a room can recognize it, I'm like, yeah, it's a real thing though that people do. Oh yeah, Alan Weaver, I get what you mean. I find, for me, like, can't afford it is just an easy shorthand. I've tried to move more towards can't fit it in right now, because that's kind of just more accurate language. But, I mean, I usually, that one doesn't really bother me that much, because it's like, I get what they mean. I mean, there is a version of it that starts to trend into, like, the gambler mind, where it's like, can't afford it, I'll make me afford it by, like, not eating or blah blah blah. Then it's kind of like, well, if it's in a dangerous way, then I'm like, no, you should probably assess what you're doing. But oh no, Rider Strike, I get you. To quote, don't have the patience for rips or rents anymore. I just like having the disc right there. No, 100%. Especially now when some things randomly, right? Sometimes some stuff super easy to find on streaming. I find it right now. Some stuff, it's like, okay, sorry, who has it now? Because it's changed hands for like the 4th time in the last 2 years. Oh, it's just not anywhere now because it changed hands too many times and the wrong hands got it and they just aren't putting it up anywhere. Oh, they aren't making a disc either. They're just stuffing it into their butt. Oh, okay. Well, like that really, yeah. That is part of the reason why there are some things that are available for streaming now, but I like them enough where I'm like, no, but I would like to own a Blu-ray, because, like, I don't want to ever have to think about, do I have access to watch it? Also, it is, like, how do you put this? I still think it's goofy that, like, we just went from DVD to Blu-ray, and Blu-ray is, like, at the end of the day, it's a Sony-branded word, right? But it's the word. It's the thing. It's what we have. Ruby, I fell off the physical media treadmill when the prospect of rebuying things on 4K came up. So since I've never had a 4K television, I've always lived in like small apartments or basements or whatnot. I've always just been like, the 4K thing is a funny bonus I'll never use, basically. Aris, can't fit in right now, also provides more positive connotation. I feel like can't afford it. Can lead to negative mindset about the hobby. I do agree with that. I think can't afford it leads to... And I mean, you do have to think about your budget as a living human at some point, but it does... If you're using it in your hobby space, it does start to lead to spiral thoughts for some folks. It's happened to me before. If I'm like, oh, I can't afford that, because I'm also struggling, because I'm also trying to afford... utilities and rent, blah blah blah, and it's like it's spiraling, and spiraling happens to the best of us and the worst of us and the middle of us, but spiraling's never fun. Nor is spiraling ever really that constructive. So I'm down with minimizing. PKP's having the same thing with Lyokaiser. Don't have the money for it, being compounded with the artificial scarcity. Yeah, I mean, what I would say about a HasLab Transformer that isn't Unicron, we are 2 for 2 on them, Victory Saber and Deathsaurus. Deathsaurus especially. Kind of just being around afterwards. Like, there were Deathsauruses for real decent prices at TFCon LA. And it's been a minute since Deathsaurus came out. So, like, I think that if you don't want to do it within the window, it's not the biggest risk in the world to go, like, maybe it'll cost an extra $50 to $100 if I wait till people have them. And so far, it's kind of trended more towards the 50 than the 100, in my opinion. But I haven't really been like, I haven't been like, eyes to the market or anything. This is just like other people's experiences and things I saw walking around. What about spiraling a nice... I want to spiral some potatoes. Have you ever had spiral potatoes? Those are really good. Like, they're a hella gimmick, but they're really tasty. Rider Strike. More likely to watch something if I physically have it. I could see that. I've gotten so used to streaming and slash having a hard drive full of digital stuff that, like... I'm sort of in between, I guess. It's been a really hard 4 years. I mean, yeah, Lee. It's... Yeah. I mean, that's relatable. That's relatable, understandable, and empathizable. Boulder, yeah, Boulder got Star Saber last month sealed for like 260. Like that's, I think that's on the more rare end, because I've heard people say they see Star Saber usually more in the 300s with some of the higher ones trying to. I mean, there are people who are trying to sell it for 400 to 500, but I don't think it's working really. Going by other people's experiences, at least. No, not curly fries. Spiral potatoes, where they spiral the whole potato. It's like this long, and it's a corkscrewed thin potato that's been deep fried. It's just like a long potato chip basically, but it's tasty gimmick food. Yeah, like blooming onions, but I think spiral potatoes are a bit classier than blooming onions. Also, I will say I totally dig Ruby and Rider Strike. I dig the ritual nature of putting the disc in, especially since, to me, that comes part and parcel with bonus features and commentary tracks, which I don't feel have ever properly really made the jump to digital or streaming. Like, they're out there, but it's so hit or miss, and it never feels the same. How stable is this thing? It's all right. I've knocked bits loose. That's just the weapon storage. Mainly, I've had the feet. I've knocked the feet off a couple times, but I think they tab in with a kind of a T-bar tab. So that's tightenable. And this thing also, this is primarily on that little double tab blob that goes into that hole. So I've knocked this one off. Someone, I think Valkaisis said that this is not uncommon. But since it's all tabs in slots, you can give them a little, a brush or two of some varnish or something, and that should fix it up. How's this doing? Is this tightened up yet? Oh, that's much nicer. Yeah, it feels way more sticky now. I'll let that set some more. By the way, related to this, my missing link cliff jumper had a super loose shoulder over here. It's already like it wasn't even able to stay like that before. So I got in there into the hinge of the loose part with a paintbrush and some varnish and just kind of like worked some in and moved the shoulder around and just left him overnight, and then it was already doing way better. So the gloss varnish is working for me. But I was clued in on the Volcanicus storage spot for this little sword whilst I let it, cure. Yeah, GD Slalom, I've come to understand that is a huge problem on a lot of the missing link cliff jumper and bumblebees. It's a riveted, it's a pinned joint that is just kind of loose. But it is not that hard to start tightening with a little paintbrush and a little bit of gloss varnish. Ugh. I like it when you can store a melee weapon at an angle on a back like this. It's just kind of cool. It's like Sephiroth cool. Rocknerd Radio, my B's shoulder super floopy. Okay, yeah. No, it was the same on here, but it's it's hard to show right now, but
that hinge around that pin. I moved it down so I could see it a bit better, and I folded it back like this. But I just took a paintbrush and some varnish and just brushed it all in and around in there, and then like squidged it in. It got a bit looser after a couple days because I was moving it around a whole lot. But I can just go in there, add some more. Also, yeah, the friggin' I wish I had the budget to work more Blu-ray purchases in because of stuff like Discotech. Um, my own fun budget, it's somewhat based on just like I want something now, but also I've tried to make sure that I guess I try to have high efficiency serotonin delivery. So I've kind of identified like what things make me the happiest and what things, make me happier when I think of buying them versus when I actually own them. So usually it's transforming robots. They just make me the happiest when I get them. So they tend to outweigh physical media just by a little bit. Recently, though, I had some strong moments related to this because the G.I. Joe Classified Iron Grenadier and Iron Grenadier Bat are both showing up in lots of GameStops around here. Only a few years ago, probably even only last year, I would have bought those on site for being Iron Grenadiers. But I really noticed when I picked up Big Boa and Jinx last year while I was helping my mom. Granted, that was kind of a bummer, and so maybe that was affecting things, but they really, I felt like so little about them after I opened them and got all their accessories in bags, and I was like, I don't think I really enjoy Classified that much. And then I got Chun-Li, and it really compounded. I was like, was it Chun-Li? It was either Chun-Li or Bison, or one of the two. Anyway, a Jada Street Fighter toy, like, just smashed the kneecaps off a Classified for me on the spot. And so, now I see, like, Classifieds in GameStop. I get tempted, but I'm like, that $60 could also be robots that make me happier. So maybe I will go for that instead. Yeah, Rider Strike. Like, I've been trying to pre-order less, too. Just because, I don't know, I really want to, I just want to come across things. I am still jazzed on Classified Cobra Commander and Destro. That's why I was kind of surprised how much Big Boa, especially, like, really was just, I felt like nothing. And Jinx, I was like, this kind of feels crummier. And then having her next to Chun-Li, I was like, I think Jinx is just going to go back into a bag for now. Because, like, I don't know, just I was told Jinx was apparently just a weak toy as well in people's opinions. Like, a bunch of people implied to me, at least, like, Jinx is not considered a very good Classified figure. Because the thing about Cobra Commander and Destro that really worked for me was it felt like they felt close to fig arts to me. Like, not top-end fig arts, but they felt very close to, like, the more bottom-end, like, Marvel and Star Wars fig arts. And Jinx did not feel like that to me at all. So I want to put this fella in one more pose. Yeah, V-Rider, part of my wider oeuvre on this point is, like, I've just kind of given up on Hasbro 6-inch. I found it's just so rare for me to actually be satisfied after I open the figure. I'm, like, more excited to find it and purchase it than I am to actually, like, pose it. And then this is all compounded by the fact that, like, whatever Jada Toys is doing, they really cracked a code on 6-inch figures for, domestic distro and market. Like, they are kicking ass right now. And their stuff feels like how I used to feel about Hasbro 6-inch stuff. Yeah, Jada Toys has some 6-inch scale cyberpunk figures with cloth goods clothes. It's like kind of bonkers. I like this. I like this pose. Psycho Jenny's like, don't give me a new problem. I don't got time to have this problem right now. Adam Bill Moo, did you relactate your phone? People who were not there for the context, it's all good, it's all cool, it's all legal, most importantly. But no, with Marvel Legends especially, I feel for everyone involved on both the design teams and the collector side. I feel like the design team is utterly hamstrung as far as like what they're able to do for anything. This is the impression I've gotten, is like the Marvel Legends design team is constantly like, design a figure that splits into pieces to pack with figures, make that part of the budget of the wave, make sure that most of these figures are using other figures' parts as much as possible. Like, it's just this friggin' like plate spinning disaster that they have to go through, along with like, oh, also Marvel Styles guides, etc., etc. By the way, head scans of actors, blah blah blah. It's like, I want to be clear. I'm mostly talking about like the design team and not like, you know, the Hasbro Corpo. And then the collectors are kind of like, you know, it is an established known line, and like, you know, the more that you like a line, I think the more that you're able to have patience and kind of like slow burn, like, you know, going through it with the line. But like, yeah, they're in a funny place. And also I think like Marvel Legends has some of the most like apocalyptically acidic influencers involved in it that I have ever seen in my YouTube thumbnails, which is probably making the candor of being in that specific side of the hobby, I assume, like, real just ugly and unpleasant. Like, you know, again, I'm not trying to be a promoter of toxic positivity. It's just like, sometimes I've clicked some of the videos just to see, maybe they're just playing bad thumbnail game, you know? But like some of those, I was watching one just because I was like, what is this guy going to talk about? And it was just the whole thing. I was just like, Jesus Christ, brother! Like, what? And then I look, you know, it's a well-viewed person, and I'm like, so y'all just live in this perpetual state of combat then? Because I can't, I do not abide that in my hobbies anymore. Yeah, the Maximum Spider-Man Discord is just to somehow, not to call in the greatest, you know, specter of our time, to make the discourse around slightly more, well, you know, deluxe expensive for Marvel Legends Spider-Man toy, to make that feel as much of a perpetually throbbing hand grenade as talking about Star Wars 8, the last night with a J. Like something's wrong. Something's wrong with the machine. It's just, at a certain point, it's like, okay, I think you all said everything you could possibly say. like, just leave it alone then. Like, all right, I dropped his foot. You see, this is what if you manipulate, the ankles are kind of tight. They're a little bit tighter than the foot connection. But as you can see, it connects with a double T crossbar, so I don't think it is out of the question to be able to tighten that connection and get it to grip in just a little bit tighter. Because, like, to the point of Maximum Spider-Man, right? From people I know who have interest in that figure, I have heard a lot of good points made for it and against it. And I'm like, no, it is an absolutely discussable, debatable figure. Double T, that is an I. Only in a serif font. I don't know what I'm wagging my finger at. But yeah, it's an absolutely... In fact, I think it's a really interestingly discussable toy. But just boy howdy. Like, when the basic tone being presented to most people, and all due respect, right? I'm included in this to some degree. When a lot of viewers are parroting just the raw acid bile, just straight up like, I'm gonna friggin', I'm gonna take this jar of tahini and this glass of lemon juice and mix them into a sludge and just shotgun it before I start talking. Like, that ain't no way to live in a hobby space. Like, that's no longer a hobby space. That's a job, in my opinion. Wagging my finger and go, yeah, you heard me. You heard me. Yeah, Adam, what's up? Yeah, he does. That's one of the Dinoking bonuses. Is he actually just comes with foot parts, and they are also rocket launchers, which is my kind of thing. Ugh. Anyway, there's I use the word a lot, and it's an overused word, but it's a descriptive word that does cover the topic. There is a lot of nuance in like what coverage is, what criticality of coverage is. I think it is easy to. I mean, I see it as I don't really know the stuff in question that well myself, but there's a conversation about if someone is critical to the point that it's no longer fun to watch. I think there's room for that, as long as the criticality is coming from the right kind of intent, and that's something that is going to be kind of like a flavor thing. Like you're gonna detect which ones you like, which ones you don't. There is a small element of, I guess, media literacy to it. I think the media literacy end of it is more so identifying when someone is crossing the Rubicon of rage baiting or figuring out how to prolong the anger so they can make another video about it within the next 3 days, if that makes sense. Has anyone done a combiner set where all the superfluous bits just form a new dude? Yes, that little chibi Predaking set that has like a Last Supper artwork as the box art. All the Predaking bits, so they're all chibi-sized, right? The Predacons. All the Predaking bits form a chibi Predaking when they're not in use. It's kind of adorable. I really want that set. Anger edging. Yeah, basically. And it's, like, I get sucked into it sometimes, without realizing it. Thankfully, I feel I've developed a good, like, mad dar for when it's happening. And I think it's a really valuable skill to have nowadays to, like, because this also can apply to, like, if you get really pulled into doom scroll, to a detriment to yourself. Being able to kind of identify when you are giving in to letting the ease of rolling anger and etc. like sort of take control of your own steering wheel, because it's super easy. And I will. I mean, I think I've made this pretty clear. Like, there's lots to be angry about, very justifiably, and you should be. Mad Dar of Masters of the Universe. Yeah, Alex Silver. It's like, it's a classic character. Mad Dar is a Marvel C-lister. Rider Strike. Get what you mean. Back to my own experiences, following your stuff back in the day. Something Buso Shinki. Think about how that landscape has changed. Yeah, back in the day, like, there were folks who would get mad about stuff, but, like, definitely there is a more monetizable way to do it now. I feel transparently monetizable. Yeah, Ruby, like, that's a real easy rule, actually, to follow. Quote, if I see anyone make an angry video about the same thing 3 times in a row, it is a good idea to stay away. Super simple, and in my opinion, accurate rule you can follow, yeah. Mine was the first time I clicked a video about the Ghost Rider HasLab car, just kind of wondering, like, okay, what is the discourse? And during the video, the guy threw out a "Let's go Brandon" and then started screaming about how a specific named member of the design team had fallen in with. He started using all the words at the time. I don't know if woke was among them at that period, but like, you know, he just started like slobbering out like every possible. Somehow the Hasbro designer, I could only really parse, maybe had said something progressive once, but he used words that aren't slurs in ways that sounded like slurs, this YouTuber, and I was like, what the so I you know, and it came out of nowhere. It was like, the "Let's Go Brandon" was straight up a whiplash, because it had nothing to do with it was like a punctuation the guy, it was like a, it was like some kind of like friggin' like chud stim the guy was doing, and I don't know. That's where I sort of started formulating my maybe unkind opinion on a lot of 6-inch Marvel YouTube. I know there are plenty of completely fine folks who operate in that space, and I hope they understand that I'm not talking about them. Take it easy, Rock Nerd Radio. But yeah, I had only just kind of caught on that "Let's Go Brandon" was a dog whistle phrase in that period. And so then to hear someone just throw one out there after calling out a member of the Marvel Legends design team personally as though they were going to fight them over the HasLab car, I was just like, Jesus, like... okay. Like, I'll say, thank goodness, I don't think anyone in my viewpoint has ever gone to that level over any of our Transformers HasLabs. Like, people can get mad about them, and that's fine. No one started screaming friggin' dog whistle phrases. I don't mean to, like, you know, always go back to propping up Transformers hobby space. It's just that I think we have a pretty decent one. We have a very decent one. We can really salvage if things go wrong. You know, we can account if we get a bad actor in there. We got a lot of good cushioning in space. GD Salam, I will call out Evan because I believe in my heart he has a red Geist Death Sword on his computer. You know, I don't disagree. Like, how much of a call would it have been to go like, can we get this test shot done in red once? Aside from things like, is Omega Prime worth the HasLab slot, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, it's the question itself. It's not like an invalid question. It's just like, I feel that it's a question that more fruitfully leads to the conversation of like, what are we calling a HasLab slot, right? And also like, how do I put this? Because when we start, also, yeah, the slot. Like, we went through this with Masterpiece, but the whole approach of HasLab, right? When a HasLab slot, right? It's as out of our control as what is in the toy line that will be coming out 2 or 3 years from now. So obviously we can, you know, express how much we'd like to see some things, but like the idea that like it's taking up a slot, it's kind of like, I mean, the decision was probably made ages ago to move this forward to the point where it could be presented as a HasLab project. And I, you know, complaining about slot use on its base level, I think it's fine. It's mostly if that becomes your personality for a couple months, then like you gotta maybe let it go, because like nothing you can do will stop whatever they put into the slot. You can simply saunter up to the edge of the slot and make a lot of noises about what you'd like to go in there, but you're not the one who operates the object that penetrates. The penetration is not yours to do. So, like, don't drive yourself mad trying to affect things that are sort of outside of your control, is I guess my phrase I would use for that. Who's slotting up the HasLab? I mean, yeah, the Proton Pack, I think, had a place for the cable to go. Did you see there is a KO G1 Scorponok being done as Zazoriga, like, recently? Didn't they deconfirm slots in some interview you did forever ago? I mean, yeah, I also... I mean, like, slot as an idea, I understand what it means for most people, but the concept of, like, the limited slot for which characters are fighting to occupy, yeah, it doesn't really work like that to my knowledge. I guess what I would say is I fully understand how it can appear that way, but, like, yeah, it kind of works that way, I guess, but not in the way that I think a lot of folks who would yell about it the most think it works. Oh, the whole Omega Prime thing and Evan mentioning an Optimus, that's kind of like you got to, so that whole thing, in my opinion, you got to account for the part where Evan is one member of the design team who was just answering a question on the fly. The part where people are like, Evan promised! It's like, no, he didn't. He just said a thing. Like, Evan's not even the design lead. So, like, friggin', I don't know. That's one where I was kind of like, look, with kindness, get over it. Like, that is one step removed from, you said 3 years ago you didn't like Lio Convoy, and now you're purchasing a Lio Convoy toy. It's kind of like, you know, let it... It doesn't matter. It's... Yeah, also, Picky P's saying, even when it was announced, he started going mea culpa, because it's like, yeah, like, whatever, it's a thing he said, and then it got reneged upon by the larger company he works for, like, I don't know. and I feel like, this is the part that I feel like kind of got lost to the winds for the sake of the argument. It's like, did the team collectively not sort of lay out that, like, it's not impossible they could have done Rid Optimus, but to do Ultra Magnus and Blue Bolts would probably fall into the realm of either it takes 2 or 3 years for them all to come out, or they only do Rid Optimus. His middle finger's out of frame. Good. Actually, I gotta blow my nose. I'm gonna be right back. Watch the space for me, Dino King.
Kono kuso yaro, minasan. Kuso yaro daze. Kuso yaro.
I'm back. No, I'm not going to use the tissue for real mucus because I don't want to devalue it. No, my name... Wait, what did the... I didn't look at the... Kusonya Road? Perfect. Perfect. But yeah, just to finish my thought, slash recollection about Omega Prime stuff. Another big aspect of it is also just the nature of what HasLab is, which I have gone on many times on my little soapbox, that HasLab, the way HasLab is presented leads people down unconstructive roads of thought that I think mostly frustrate, which is the notion that, like, it is so crowdfunded that, like, we have so much say in what is happening, when it's like, the crowdfunding element of it is more so to make the case that is being presented internally by the team that it is worth making this piece that is outside of regular retail space, budget, and distribution. And I'm guessing, but I think I'm right, basically. This is one of those times where it's like, I'm guessing, but also I'm pretty sure I'm right. HasLab is a Hasbro design team presenting a project that is currently not fitting into the scope or realisms of the retail space that their stuff occupies, or the retailer-exclusive capsules, or the convention-exclusive capsules, whatever. it is something that would be sort of a standalone project, and it needs to justify itself by having so many people willing to pre-order it up front. And presenting that as a crowdfund is not illogical, but it creates a lot of language and a lot of user-end assumptions that leads to frustrating discussion, I guess specifically for me. But also I think it really stunts the ability to explore with interest what the notion of HasLab is in these kind of wider conversations. So I would recommend, personally, looking at HasLab as it is mostly just the team would like to do this project, they have presented it, and it is in a space where it would require this much initial pre-order to justify its creation as a more bespoke, low-run item. Lee Calba, wish I had a slot there. I typed it, been running through my brain half the night. There you go. Curious to see if those rumors of non-crowdfunded made-to-order TF turns out to be true. Yeah, I mean, that was it a rumor, or was it more like just sort of, it was a posit that was stated of, like, maybe there could be a mid-space eventually. Partly because the Transformers ones are going so well. What about the notion that HasLab is top-notch premium products that should be perfect with its unlimited budget? That's also, I think, a misnomer. That's very much something that could be unmisnomered by Hasbro themselves, but they would have to present those projects differently. Because I think demonstrably, if you look at, for instance, you know, every every Transformers HasLab specifically, at the end of the day, they are clearly Generations toys with a looser ceiling, but they are still operating under a lot of auspices, and how do you put this? Clearly they are still maintaining a ceiling just for the sake of, like, we would like this still to cost an amount that people would remotely want to pay. But aesthetically and in the kind of design mind of HasLab pieces that Transformers has gotten, they are very much Generations oriented in just about every aspect, in my opinion at least. Yeah, Lee Calba, I hear you on that. Yeah, like, Lee Calva saying, my own bugbear is how people treat price points as size class. I think it doesn't help that, like, once upon a time, I think some Hasbro copy in, like, the aughts may have referred to those as size classes, and the language bled, but, like, you know, time moved on since then, you know? But yeah, the price point thing, that always kind of bugged me, because, like, I don't have a response when someone's like, this is short. Because I'm like, yeah. I don't know what else to say. It's not like I'm really mad at the person most of the time. I'm just like, there's no conversation to have, though, because, like, yeah, it's shorter, like, yup. HasLab's the How Do You Do Fellow crowdfunding is a crowdfund project. Well, I mean, a lot of crowdfund projects are also the How Do You Do Fellow. Anything that Simon makes on Kickstarter or GameFound now, kind of sort of a How Do You Do Fellow crowdfunders thing, to be honest. That's in the board game space, I should clarify. I like calling them CMON because it's cool minis or not, and apparently they at trade shows they're very much like it's come on, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna say it with the apostrophe, so you're either gonna be CMON or you're gonna be come on. Which one? Which one do you want? Cumin, you got me. Yeah, I mean, shrinkflation, that's more of a wider industry thing. That enters into the realm of, wouldn't it be neat if a North American CEO of a corporation took a pay cut? Wouldn't it be neat if the company that owns Magic the Gathering actually had a war chest built on those riches to weather a storm? They don't, because that's not how a Christopher Piscox, operates. But that I think is the main place to aim the aggro, because like the actual product is being designed under auspices handed down. So I just find that like pointing it out, the fruitful conversation to me is moving the focus onto the corpo and trying to deduce, like, I mean, deduce is kind of an overwrought word to use for this, but sort of like I like trying to figure out, like, okay, like what are the limitations the Transformers team is being put under while designing and proposing these projects, I guess would be the word. Repeating myself, but like a lot of this, I like to make this point as much as possible that like, good night, GD Solemn. It is, I think, really critical when we have talented and creative people. I'm like leaning all the way over here. When we have talented and creative people working on Transformers at Hasbro, I think it's really important to be able to look at their work with a lot of interest and a lot of enthusiasm and wanting to see what they're working on, what they're doing. And being able to also, and liking them even. I think Evan seems like a pretty cool guy. I think Mark seems like a super chill guy. And also being able to go like, Hasbro the corporation can take a big old soulless prime foot up the taint or whatever. Christopher Piscox seems like a cruddy boss. Seems like a lousy CEO. Seems like a horrific capitalist. It's not normal. Well, it is. It should not be normal. Nor should it be easy to do, to lay off, you know, reams of people before Christmas every single year. Tombot, I think the chat is eating my comments for speaking ill of CEOs. YouTube Robot, you're gonna be on the wall. Just be aware of this. Aris, a cool HasLab I would love to see would just be a non-transforming tidal wave that could house the Starseekers like a big boy ship. That would be fun. I like the idea of play sets for Transformers. I'm kind of curious, like what the, like, I mean, we kind of have them off and on over time, but like, what would, like, you know, take an existing team, what would like a play set for them be? Like, that could be kind of neat. Rider Strike, you had a professor named Dick Balding. There is a version of events where that is like the coolest dude, because he just figured out how to ride that like a surfboard. That was something that my friend Genevieve brought up about HasLab Unicron that I did not disagree with, which is every inch of his internal sculpting should have been sculpted like tiny playsets. So you could just, like, open up, you know, a transformation explosion on part of his body and just have that be, like, a little, like, playset for little minifigures or something. And when she said that, I was like, no, that's actually a really legit crit. That's a really legit crit. Yeah. Razor Bear, I think a USS Flag HasLab hasn't happened because, like, I think the USS Flag is an object that simply should not exist. So I just don't think there's a way they can do... I don't think there's a way they could present it that would work, basically. I think in the timeline of HasLab, it would either be Unicron or the Flag. And then no HasLab is ever that big again, and we got Unicron. Mostly just because, like, what is the USS Flag? It's a giant plank, right, that is hollowed out to have stuff in it. And so, like, it is just so structurally unsound because it's long. Oh, BMAC was asked about a flag before. Okay. Lee, yeah, they I mean, I have to remind myself it's been several years now, but like that was something they were trying to do in Titan's Return. Like, you know, with like the leader class, Soundwave, and Blaster, like just turning into basically bases that could ramp connect. If I understood that correctly, at least. The flag is basically a table. Yeah, true. BMAX said it would be over 1,000 USD. I mean, that makes sense. Like, for that thing to cost anything reasonable, you would have to, like, separate it into so many pieces. And then balance, like, are you making too many pieces? Is this too much assembly? Are the steel, like, the steel toolings would have to be, like, you're trying to fit them into, like, these specific sizes so those things don't balloon in cost. Yeah. I think with the Legacy trilogy, it just ended up like, they just picked a lane, I guess, is the way I would put it. I do remember hearing multiple times that like the notion of the playset as a saleable toy that kids actually want very much died off years ago. And so that's why like when you do see playset style things, they're usually a combination playset and giant robot, or they're a playset and carry case, they're a playset and something. That's why 2013 Metroplex was considered a massive risk, because in that era, the playset was considered a losing gambit in the industry, if I recall correctly. I might be crisscrossing some of my timelines a little bit, but I have a lot of distinct memories of like the playset itself. Something about it just doesn't doesn't exist in the industry really anymore in its old form. That's it. Yeah, Scorp. Like I think playset carry cases are super baller. I like those things. Yeah, Carter McClure, definitely. Cyberworld is sort of going small toy with playset. I guess it's more small toy with accessory, I think. And then the larger the toy is, the more it can sort of hypothetically be a playset for the smaller toys. Ignoring that Scorponok in Cyberworld is literally a playset figure. Like that is meant to be a big, well, I guess more a big vehicle, I guess, that the other ones can all sit on. I've heard, yeah, I've heard the flag is often super requested, and it's like, I've had a kind of rant about it before. I don't mean to present it as a rant. It's just more like, I think everyone's got to let the flag go, because like, even in the 80s, the flag didn't really make sense, and broke a lot. And I get the impression that like the concept of the flag is just something that is not meant for this world. It's a weird way to put it. Like it's chthonic or something. If you look at the USS flag for too long, you go mad. Lee, my understanding is it's like it's a number of things, and this is all over the years, so I don't know how many of these necessarily crisscross, but it's like number one, like one of the number one things is like retailers are persnickety about giant boxes. So a lot of playsets tend to be in a big box, and then retailers get grumpy and just don't want it if they think it'll sit around for too long. And then that compounds with like what can I always feel weird saying it this way, but you know, what can kids afford? What do kids have most interest in, etc. But I believe a lot of it is mostly like playsets are very large, or in at least very large boxes, or are very large pieces of plastic. Like I think that's been sort of solved over time, of like not having the giant planks. But yeah, there's a lot of air quotes, because I mean, like I'm paraphrasing a lot, and also I don't do the market research, so I don't want to speak with like authority I don't have. But yeah, like generally, like the retailers have a lot of say in the existence of giant toys that they might be selling, and then that trickles down to warehousing space if it is for online, Does the giant box in the warehouse, is that worth it when we could have, 18 smaller boxes taking up that space, blah, blah, blah. I think those, like, because absolutely there is the case of, like, how milkable is it, is it chasing a current trend, but I think those get outweighed by a lot of stuff relating to physical logistics. How lactatable, yeah. And yeah, I figure, like, one of the biggest problems with playsets is, early on, is like, this is something that I kind of pieced together from old Metroplex talk, is like, if you actually just have giant pieces, those require giant steel toolings, and if a steel tooling is really big, its cost increase as you drag the diagonal is, like, very exponential. This is all going off of, like, 2013 info, so, like, I can't really imagine it's much different now. But yeah, I think it's a combination of that. It's what retailers want. It's market research, whatever that is, right? I don't do it, so I don't know. Informing that, like, kids may simply not have the interest when compared to more contained transforming robot experiences. Alexis Silver, well, I think retailers stink. I mean, yeah, I think somewhere deep down, most people who work in the toy industry probably don't like retailers all that much. At least in North America. I don't think a lot of folks, like, on a Transformers team are like, damn, I love those guys at Walmart. It's an impression I've gotten over the years. That's one of the things I really liked about getting to interact with marketing people in those Zoom calls, was, like, piecing together the marketing people are actually real people who have real gripes and grudges. Because those gripes and grudges often very much relate to their job. But I think another thing is, like, how do you put it? It's also the case of, like, in the annual, production calendar, like, how much space does a large playset type thing take up, whereas they could be making more surefire, smaller contained experiences. I'm kind of like spitball hypothesizing now, so, like, I'm starting to turn into a piece of vaporware when I get too lost in the forest on this kind of stuff. But I have fun talking about it. That's one of the things that I always wished, is that we, as a wider, broader hobby community, no individuals anymore, just like the wider mass, right? I wish there was more eager interest in this kind of stuff, as opposed to, like, how do we decode the monster and make them do what we want kind of interest. Make the playsets out of cardboard. Would you believe cardboard is a problem because of Amazon? Amazon buying all the cardboard boxes everywhere is a problem for everybody. That's the thing I learned one day. Apparently that just makes problems for everybody who needs to use cardboard for things. Connor McClure, ain't nobody making robot pirate ships with metal carbot. That's the real issue. How do we get more of those? Yeah, we gotta normalize pirate ships more. Take it easy, Fuzzy Bunny Man. Which I find funny the amount of times I get stuff in a damn envelope, not a box. Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh, no, I just said normalize pirate ships. Normalize pirate ships that turn into robots. Pirates of the Caribbean, where are you? Why were you here too early to have a Transformers collabo, huh? Dummy. Freaking throwing a bottle at the director. Made your movie too early, bozo. More boat Transformers. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, in Transformers media once or twice, doesn't that even get called out? I mean, in the comic books as a funny bit, but also Pipes wasn't wrong. You know, it's like, where all the boats at? Where all them hottie boats at? for Pipes to I guess leer at, like a pervert. Oh, this little guy's so cool. I will say, I am actually kind of impressed that these 5mm like full-on limb connections are holding as they have so far. Like I kind of popped one or two out, but like I often kind of assume the worst of those things. So, you know, all credit due. Yeah, V-Rider, B-Mac is getting his sea spray. I wonder, can I do this? I can do this. I kind of like this. Take it easy, Rider Strike. Bring back Label and give us a transforming NAS you can fill with your favorite legally acquired files. Legit. And make that transform into a pirate robot. I have seen the retro line. They had 4 retro Bumblebees at the Walmart when I found Swapticons and Sentinel Prime. When I went back 2 days later, they only had 1 left, so I guess people were buying them, which is neat. And they got Lockdown again, but he's full price. And now that I see him around, I'm like, it's Lockdown and it's Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. I want those for no more than $10 a piece. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna get them, but now I want them specifically for super cheap. It's gonna drive me bonko. Oh, Adam, my Volcanicus held together for a good while. Can confirm the connection's already. Yeah, that's good to hear. Because it feels like they're using like the what's it? Something about the plastic mix on the peg feels like it's a little bit more dense and survivable. Yeah, I keep seeing Americans who can get these friggin' like clearance price Lockdowns and Studio Series 86 Bumblebees, and I'm just like, I don't know how to organizedly request that someone bring one to Toronto so I don't have to pay for shipping. Because if I have to pay for shipping, then all the savings go out the window, and I may as well just buy one here. Because I don't see Transformers on clearance much at all in Toronto. I can't remember the last time I did. Oh, damn, I was gonna get a $7 Quintesson off Toy Guy, I think, and I forgot. My bad. I'm just now realizing. Yeah, like we're in the flippin' hamburger hell, or all the Canadian discount 86 Bumblebees. Oh, the $7 Quintesson was the prime changer, I believe. I keep leaning over here. My apologies. I'm just like going a little brain dead. Oh, plugs, by the way. I gotta plug something. Browser feature. Number one, if you're buying any toy hacks, you should use this code. You ever heard me? I don't know if you ever heard, but I got these toy hacks codes. Gives you Vangelus supports lean. I love mixing. What is lean again? Was it like NyQuil and Red Bull or something? Anyway, if you did you know I get these coupon codes that work for toyhacks.com, what make all them label sheets. So this month, in the month of March, the code Marty Grangelus over there. That code gives you 15% off. Did you know that? Lean is NyQuil and Sprite. Oh, okay, I was close. What would NyQuil and Red Bull be? Other, I guess, than poison. Long was here. I hear this feeds the machine. It does. It does. Anyway, the other thing. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, I will be on D20 Live. That is D20 Live. They do restreams, so they got a stream going on YouTube and a stream going on Twitch TV. They are the folks with whom I am often invited to play TTRPGs, and I have a lot of fun because Mike is a great GM who can parse all my nonsense. I got some answers. Tranquilizer. Okay, yeah. A death sentence. Anti-lean. Bitch. It's promethazine and codeine. Anyway, I see someone knows Fist. Cool. I never played it until we did a test game. So we're gonna be doing a Metal Gear Solid scenario and streamed game tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. What I can share with you. Wait, I gotta go find my full description of it from the Discord. We did a test game to like try out the get us players used to the mechanics and stuff. My summary of our test mission. My character, I'll reveal my character. My character that we rolled up. Wait, where'd my OBS go? I wanna look at y'all. Where are you? There you are. My character that I rolled up is codename Rictus Sperm Whale. Pronouns they them. I rolled the traits I rolled were seduction, which gave me little black dress, and then veteran, which gave me +1 armor and assault rifle at the start of the mission. And that combination I thought was quite funny. That I have a little black dress, and also I arrive at a procure on site mission with an assault rifle. So in our test mission, Rictus Sperm Whale, I arrived. I was like, okay, I head to the beach immediately. I get off the helicopter, put my assault rifle in the sand for a second, roll around in the water so I'm all wet, and then go up to one of the 3 guards and attempt to seduce them. I failed immediately. So the guard just pulled a gun on me. He was like, what the hell are you doing? Then one of my teammates who had atomokinesis went like, I am going to use my atomokinesis to strike a guard with a lightning bolt. So they rolled. They failed critically. So the other 2 players were still on the helicopter when this happened. One of them, the one using the atomokinesis, and the other player were both on the helicopter. One of them was like, I summon the power of lightning! They failed, so the lightning struck the helicopter and blew it up. So the final player, who could summon a stand, summoned their stand and successfully got their stand to punch both of them out of the helicopter before it exploded. While all that was going on, I attempted another seduction check and failed. So we kind of just parsed it that, like, whilst I'm like, hey there, sexy guard, would you like to look in my dress? As I have, like, my assault rifle in it. They're just, like, looking up at this, this lightning randomly striking a distant helicopter as like a genie manifests and punches two individuals out of it, and they're just like, no, shut up, what's going on? And that was our test game. So we decided, like, this is all gonna go great. Yeah, it should be pretty fun to watch. I believe we are running it very much like characters can die, but we are poised and ready to roll up new ones. So it should be a fun time. I have to make a list of more Kojima names. But yeah, it's a 2d6 system, and we all kind of realized during the test game it's a 2d6 system, but 6 and under is failure, so it is a 50-50 fail state system. So like, maybe we got to take that into account a little bit. But yeah, it was quite funny. We very much are going for chaos on this one. I think poor Mike was realizing, he's like, I think I need to rewrite part of the scenario. This was like last weekend. But yeah, I was like, when you say chaos, do you mean like, do you want this to be like our Star Wars Kill Vader thing? Which, by the way, I think the VODs are up there on the YouTube channel for D20 Live. Kill Vader was so fun. We were a bunch of fake Mandalorians working for a knockoff Mandalorian like sensei, and we were sent on a mission during the time span of Empire Strikes Back through till Return of the Jedi, where our mission was to go kill Darth Vader. You're right, yeah, technically, yeah, it's 2d6, but we can't roll a 1. So yeah, it's not 50-50. Boy howdy, though, did it feel... But yeah, Kill Vader was very fun, and we ruined Mike's scenarios a whole lot. What was it? There was one where we had to go rescue we had to go find the Rancor that had run away from Jabba's palace. And when we found it, I was playing an interrogator droid who believed... no way to prove it one way or another, but he believed he was an aged, ancient Mandalorian warrior who had been Jedi mind-tricked, shunted into a droid body, and he was going to find his way back. He was also an interrogator droid, so I realized halfway through the campaign, it's like, wait, my command rolls are sick. So we found the Rancor, and I command rolled Cascade Criticaled on it. So rather than us having to, like, think of a smart way to capture and subdue a Rancor, I just screamed at it and dressed it down and humbled it with my angry tone, and it followed us back home. And that happened again when we were on the Death Star too. We were all dressed up as the Emperor's Royal Guards who never speak. And then a bunch of stormtroopers came onto the elevator with us, and I Cascade Critical to command roll on them. So I just started yelling at them, and then when they were like, "Aren't you guys supposed to have a vow of silence?" I was like, "Yeah, that's right. If you ever tell anyone that you heard us talking, you're dead. The Emperor's gonna skin you with his brain." Was it Stern Dad, Angry Tone, or Let Me Speak? It was Stern Dad. It was something like I was trying to do one of these kind of accents for the whole thing. Like the everyone's a clone of some guy accent. I was also just trying to make him sound like old and horrible. But with that in mind, it was just something, like, you dragged us all the way out here. Think about how much of a friggin' baby you're being, throwing you stupid little tantrum out here, flailing around like an infant little dumbass. You think you're scary? You look like a tiny little lump ass little scumbag, little disobedient. You're a disappointment to your father. Because he has that handler, the guy who's sad when finally the Rancor dies in Revenge of the, or I almost said Revenge of the Fallen, Return of the Jedi. So just kind of guilt tripping and dressing down this Rancor, and because of how the dice rolls worked, the Rancor just kind of went like, oh, and just like hung his head like a freaking scolded puppy dog. Yeah, Revenge of the Jedi, thank you. The best version of this is I got a clip. I can actually bring the clip up. I rolled an orate 20 during our Pendragon game, where there was a bit where Bill Cipher was trying to kidnap a baby. It makes sense. And there was like a whole like ring of fire around this child, and so I rolled an orate and I yelled at him, and it was enough to stop him long enough for like someone's bird to like grab the kid. I'm pretty sure I can bring this clip up. Hang on a second. I can go grab this. I'm very, very proud of myself for thinking of this one on the fly. Oh wait, no, that was Battle Century. And that was that one. Alright, my orate is 20. Here we go. Crack that open in a fresh...
I rolled a 14
Wait,
under 20.
Wait, stop, let me go back to the beginning. Okay.
I should tell you some of these named ideas I have for it.
I rolled a...
Oh, also for context, because in Pendragon, we have kids now. And so my character in Pendragon has rolled having not just one daughter, but in fact twin daughters. So the last time we played, his one of my whole bits was he was very proud of talking about his kids, and I had come up with two names, and I ended up just using both of them, and this is before I knew what the kids were going to be. So he's very proud of his daughters Comely and Sugmilla, and so that's what they're talking about with the kid names. He was telling Merlin at length constantly, just like, have you seen my kids? Like, eventually we're gonna... Like, the plan in the very long term is eventually we might just play as the kids when they're adults, and I've already come up with, like, who Comely and Sugmilla are. Is like, Comely is, like, the maybe kind of like paladin, like, very straight-laced, like, you know, good, virtuous knight, and Sugmilla is the one who doesn't really talk that much, but, like, just carries, like, just two really big hammers, called Dink and Donk, and just like likes to clap them on people's heads. It's actually spelled. Let me spell it for you. That's how their Christian names are spelled. Anyway, here's the. I'll play this clip now.
14. I rolled a 14 under 20 because my orate is apparently now 20.
Yeah, it is.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You spend time studying it.
Hey,
I'm
you!
training it.
You cycloptic deltoid! Don't you know children and fire don't mix? How irresponsible of you! I have twins of my own, two lovely young girls, Comely and Sugmilla, and I would never put them in a circle of blue fire, let alone generate a wall of flame in front of a falcon attempting to rescue them from that circle of fire. What do you have to say for yourself, you irresponsible little shape?
Shape.
You get wrecked.
Correct. Get called a shape, little cipher.
Together, that was fun.
Anyway, that's the bit. That's the bit. So look forward to more of that kind of thing. If you do tune in tomorrow. Yeah, I was very proud of myself for Cycloptic Deltoid to refer to a Bill Cipher type. And yeah, irresponsible little shape is I wanted to keep that one racked up too. Yeah, like the adverb, yes. But yeah, we'll be doing some Metal Gear. I'm hoping Rictus Sperm Whale survives for at least 10 minutes. Because I'm gonna. My main thing I'm worried about is if we really start character jumping, like, am I gonna actually remember who I'm playing anymore? It could be quite funny if I don't. But this seems like as good a time as any to line up my little medias. stick this in here. Bring the volume on this down for a second. And click that so it starts playing. Because I think it's time for us to start heading towards the final minutes of the stream. Thank you all for hanging out. Vangelus Yappin stream needs to be a thing sometime in the future. I'm still always like self-conscious of just coming on a stream and just like yammering. But I also like doing it, so I need to figure out what I want to figure out what a funny thumbnail would be, I guess. Thanks for coming by. As always, I got stuff in the works. Make sure you check the channel now and then if it's not showing up on your feeds, because YouTube's funny. And I will keep that in mind, Lee, if I do need some co-yap. You, co-yap. That's the thing happening tomorrow. It's 3 p.m. D20 Live. I'll put links up on Blue Sky when it's happening, but you can also look them up. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitch. They are a local area. We have good times, and I will catch you all later. I do hope you all can have as good a night as you can. Stay as safe as you can. Nourish yourself if you haven't been. Hydrate yourself if you haven't been. Those are all kind of like, I'm still working on my, I'm sending letters to the devs, but they still require that for the friggin' biologies they put us in, and like friggin' small time ass why they designed it this way. Via visual novel? I wouldn't mind. Someday I wouldn't mind reading through a visual novel. I think that could be kind of fun. I never think of them as visual novels. I just think of them as video games. So I don't know. Anyway, I will catch you all later, and watch the finger, because it's about to go. Put some dirt in your eye.
Let them come.